What's up, everybody? You tuned in to the Cris
Ammo.
podcast, episode 197. Hope everybody's having a good day, whatever you're doing. You're at home, you're at work. We appreciate y'all tapping in with us in the live stream today. If you're watching on the playback, we appreciate you too. We got a lot to speak on. The Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fight have happened this weekend. We will get into that. WNBA playoffs are happening right now. They kicked off yesterday. Plus, we got NFL. Plus, we got college football. So we're gonna break it all the way down. Before we do all that, Ma, how are you feeling, sir?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Great weekend of sports, man. Great times. I'll say this, man, not to toot our own horn or pat our back too much, but sooner or later, man, some of y'all got to start listening to us when we talk about this boxing stuff, man. Like we know what we're talking about. We've been consistent, and like sooner or later, y'all gonna just understand. Like, start taking your notes from us, man. Like, put us in a more prominent position because we know what we're talking about. And I'll leave it at that. How you doing though?
I'm doing fine, considering. I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I don't know. My man over here dying over here.
No, it's the
Not literally, you know what I mean. But
I had a little baking soda toothpaste. Kind of
yeah,
got me
man.
choked up. I'm out there.
Sounds like that end of summer hay fever going on over there.
Oh no, I'm not getting sick. I'm not getting sick. I'll tell
That's
you,
all.
but no, but feeling good. You know what I'm saying? I'm alive and I'm ready to talk sports, man.
And let's do it, man. Got a lot to talk about.
Let's get into it, man. This is going to jump this thing off. Canelo Alvarez, Bud Crawford fight went down on Saturday on Netflix in Allegiant Stadium out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Shout out to everybody who was there. It looks like it was a lit crowd.
Sold out.
It sold out. It looked packed out. It looked good too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They did a real. Before we get into the fight, we gotta show love. They did a good job of the presentation of the whole fight. It didn't look cheesy. It looked like they put their money into this fight. And you know, even though I know people were complaining about the undercard and all that stuff, you see why. You see why, because they had to put the money in other stuff. So from the ring entrances from Bud and Canelo to the pyrotechnics, all that stuff, the technology, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? All the showman stuff that they got to do to hype up the crowd. They did a really good job with that. And I got to shout out to the Turk, man, Dana White and all them who all had their hands in this. Got to give them love, man. They did a really
My
good
God.
job. And
My God.
Netflix, you did good. You know what I'm saying? No
Man,
crashes, no glitches, no slip ups. You know what I'm saying? Everything was crystal clear and it was good to go. Which I figured Netflix wouldn't mess this fight up. You know what I'm saying? So
nah.
so I wasn't really too much. I know people was like, "Oh, the Jake Paul." I think that was their first fight. They just did one. They had to learn. Okay, we can't be bullshit with the streaming and all that stuff. So I think they did a really good job with that. Now, as far as the fight goes,
Well, let me say this. Let me say this before we
go
get
ahead.
into the fight.
Go
Like, I
ahead.
totally agree with you. I think they did an amazing job. I think this is the first time Vegas in a long time it felt like a super fight. Like you felt the energy. Like everybody that was in town, celebrities in town, you felt it. Money was pouring in. Like all those kind of like stigmas that Vegas is dead and all that shit. That shit died this weekend for sure. Yeah, shout out to Turk. Netflix killed it. Allegiant Stadium, I think it was over 70,000 people there. Amazing. Only thing you can complain about, honestly, before we get into the fight, is the undercard was pretty bad. Like I understand the whole presence. Like I think the whole joke of the whole night before the fight was, the main event for me is just trying to stay up to get to the main event. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
thought that was pretty funny. But not disrespect any of the undercard fighters. I thought the fight before the Vargas fight was really good.
Mhm.
I thought between those two guys, I thought that was amazing. But besides that, everything else was kind of like whatever. So, but yeah, man, I thought it was a great show of what a super fight should be, and hopefully we get a lot more of these in Vegas again.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Definitely looking forward to see some of the next fights that's coming out. The big fights that come out here to Vegas, and at Allegiant Stadium. Um, Now, as far as the fight goes, this fight went exactly how I thought this fight was going to go. I thought that this is what Crawford was going to do. He was going to outbox Canelo Alvarez for 12 straight rounds, and that's what he did. He controlled him with his jab. He picked his spot when he needed to pick his spot. flurries and combinations, and you know, he moved when he needed to move. He never let Canelo Alvarez get his feet set, and that's the thing about Canelo Alvarez is once he gets his feet set, that's when he gets confidence. That's when he gets you in that corner. He hit you, he'll knock you out, and that's what he's been accustomed to. This is why I've always said that. Look, no disrespect to Canelo Alvarez, but I've always said that since Floyd Mayweather, he's picked certain type of fight. He said it out of his mouth himself. He does not like fighting guys who move around. He said it himself. He hates that. He wants a stationary target to stand in front of him. Say what you want about Triple G. A lot of people thought Triple G beat him, but Triple G was a stationary target. So, of course, he felt like he had the upper hand because he was the more faster fighter than Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Both of them had power, but he was the faster fighter. And so he picked Triple G. And it looks good on his resume because Triple G was a world class fighter at the time. Um, but outside of Triple G, is like he's picked guys who just stand there and take punishment, and next thing you know, they're on the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
When he faced a Floyd Mayweather, you saw the difference in class. And some people, oh, he was 23. Okay, fine, I'll give you that. He was 23 years old. He was young, whatever. And he has learned a lot from that fight. But then when he moved up to fight Bivol, you saw the difference. You saw the difference. And it wasn't just that Bivol was bigger than him, he was a better boxer. He
Mm-hmm.
was clear and night a better boxer than Canelo Alvarez. And when you can apply pressure on Canelo Alvarez, when you can hit him with combinations to the face, to the body, when you can move around him and outbox him, he gets frustrated. He gets mad. Then he starts throwing like wild flurries and trying to knock you out because he can never crack that code. It's easy to crack a code when you're standing in front of me
Mm-hmm.
because I see the target. And he's gotten so used to being with stationary targets that now his moves have become predictable. Crawford looked like he was 10 steps ahead of Canelo at
Mm-hmm.
every facet.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew, and Crawford knew, look, this is boxing, you gonna get hit. So he can hit me with that little punch to the gut or to
Mm-hmm.
the side that he gets you with. But I'm gonna be moving so much that the momentum of it is not even gonna affect me.
Mm-hmm.
And you even saw Crawford when he was getting hit. The hits that didn't hurt him and was most of the night, he would shake his head. There was a few times where he got caught. He's like, all right, you caught me on that one. But there
Mm-hmm.
was a few, but most of the night it was just like, nah, that ain't it.
Yeah.
Nah, that didn't hurt. And that's when I knew that this was gonna be a long night for Canelo Alvarez. And I said it on Wednesday that if Crawford can get Canelo into the seventh, eighth, ninth round, them deep waters, he gonna gas himself out. We've seen it. He gets tired. He can't. He gets. His stamina's not there as much. His power isn't as effective when he's in the later rounds. Like you could just tell he was tired. He was winded. He was confused. he was overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And as the rounds went on, Crawford was just getting more and more, giving more and more and more, just more hits. He started standing in the middle of the ring, like around the 9, 10, 11th round. He's in the middle of the ring with him, banging with him because now he understands you're tired now. These shots are not going to hurt me as much. So now I can bang with you. Now I can show you something. And he showed him. And Canelo could never figure it out. And this is why Crawford is your new undisputed super middleweight champion because he was just a better fighter. He's more skilled, and he's the best in the world right now.
Yeah, man. Yo, real quick, shout out to you, Mark, man. I see you in the chat, man. What up, Brody? Um, Nah, yeah, like at the end of the day, when I watched this fight, like I said it before this fight even started, I was like, I had confidence that Bud was going to win this fight just because I just knew he was just a better fighter than Canelo Alvarez. But the two keys for me with Bud and my confidence level even going even higher than what it already was two things I need to see. One, how he would react to being hit, and two, how would Canelo be as far as like handling the southpaw, and then maybe even when he's decided to maybe even switch it up, and then we didn't see the switch over, but Bud's pretty much stayed southpaw the whole fight. And then honestly, like in the earlier rounds, it was just you could just tell in the initial stage what Canelo was trying to do. He was trying to go to the body a lot with Crawford because I think he was trying to set him up so he can get his hands to come down and maybe hit him with, try to do a little feint to the body and then maybe come with a right or a left or whatever the case may have been. But I think Terrence Crawford dictated that fight to perfection. You know what I mean? This is what a true boxing superstar looks like. And I know me and Cris aren't the biggest Canelo fans, but at the end of the day, you can't deny this man's legacy and what he's been meant to the boxing world and all that. So I do commend Canelo. He didn't have to take this fight. He doesn't have to take a lot of fights, even though me and you do agree he does like to pick and choose who he likes to box. But at the end of the day, he's fought some of the biggest boxers in the world. So you got to commend Canelo for that. But at the end of the day, there is levels to this game. And Terrence Crawford showed you that. And for anybody who doesn't understand, and it's like we try, and it's again, I'm not trying to toot our horn between me and Cris. Like when we try to talk to people, and it's like we want to try to educate you on what you're about to see and what you're about to witness. And it's not like we go and say Terrence Crawford is going to win, and that's it. It's like we tell you Terrence Crawford is going to win, and this is how he's going to win, and this is how the other boxer is going to look. It's no different from what we said with Errol Spence. Now, we didn't think it was going to be to that level with Errol Spence, but with Canelo, the moment we knew he was tired, because me and Cris texted, I think around maybe like the fifth, sixth round, that you could tell that Canelo was already tired. He had the big shiner on his eye. I think the most damage that Canelo did was the headbutt to Terrence Crawford. But besides that, it looked like my man just woke up from a nap. And the moment when he started getting on the inside and pounding him on the inside, I was like, it's over. It's over. There's nothing Canelo could do, because Canelo, which he proved again, I think this has been what he's been doing his last couple years, is that he's just a one-punch hitter. You know what I mean? He looks for the big haymaker. And if he can't get that, he's not throwing combinations no more. He's not looking like the Canelo Alvarez of the younger years when he fought Mayweather and Miguel Cotto and all those type of guys. This is who Canelo has been. So if he can't get that one haymaker, and even if he does, and if it doesn't have no effect to that, there's no other answer that he can come to Crawford with, because again, Crawford didn't even switch up the style. We didn't even see him switch to the orthodox style. So how would Canelo handle that situation? You know what I mean? I think there were some moments in probably the middle rounds where I think Canelo started finding a little bit of groove. There was a couple shots where I thought he had a couple good hits, but even then, Crawford wasn't really phased. It didn't really take him out of his game. And then we had a conversation with one of our friends yesterday where he was kind of saying that Crawford was running, and that's not the case at all. Like, you know what I mean? This is the main reason why Cris correctly stated, and he's been correctly stating the whole time, is that Canelo wants stationary fighters. He hates people that move and tries to box and knows how to get different angles, different styles. There was a situation where he jabbed to the body and then flicked his left wrist and clocked him on the chin. And Canelo, I've never seen Canelo this frustrated ever in a boxing match. I've never, maybe since probably Mayweather, but I've never seen him frustrated ever since then. This is the most frustrated I've ever seen Canelo in the ring. Yeah. I felt like after the fifth round, you just saw it wasn't even so much of a tiredness. Like, yeah, he was tired, but the confidence level was just gone. Like, he was like, I ain't got no answers for you. And he stated that in the press conference. So I think Terrence Crawford just solidified himself as being the greatest of this era. I think he easily should be in GOAT conversations.
Most definitely.
And I think people need to just put respect on Crawford's name. There's nothing you can tell me about Crawford. I don't want to hear no excuses from Canelo. Now I'm starting to hear that. Oh, like, you know, he's old. He had a lot of fights. Crawford was running, you know, his corner this, you know, this. Nah. We got the best of what Canelo was going to offer, and we got the best of what Crawford was going to offer, and Crawford dominated. And that's all you need to say. Tip your cap off to both parties for giving us this opportunity to watch this incredible event. Shout out to Turk. Shout out to Dana White. Shout out to everybody who was involved. It was exciting to see Max Kellerman and all those guys commentating. I thought they did an amazing job the whole night. And Bud is Bud. Bud is just on a different level, and he should be number one pound for pound. And it's not even close.
No, I agree with you. He should be number one pound for pound. Um, but all the excuses I'm not trying to hear. Like Ma said, we're not trying to hear that. None of this.
Trying to
Oh,
hear.
he was running. How can he run when he landed the most punches?
And then he got on the inside and he did what Canelo wanted to do. He got on the inside and he out toughed him. He out toughed him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the most damage that he did was the headbutt. Besides
Mm-hmm.
that, Crawford looked like he just got out the shower and he was cool. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I just saw him on Pat McAfee not too long ago, and he looked like he ain't been in a fight. He
Yeah,
looked like he can go fight next week. You know what I'm saying?
problem.
So, but what do you think? I don't know if you're going to get into this now, but as far as like where do you put Crawford in the history books? You know what I mean? As far as like the greats after this fight.
Um, he's it's an interesting conversation because you have to compare and contrast him to the other eras and where they fought and who they fought in their eras. Um, so you gotta probably pick in that era, that four horsemen era of Hearns, Hagler, Duran,
Mhm.
um, Robinson. You gotta look at those four guys. Those guys are all greats. Um, and then you got to think because weight classes. You know what I'm saying? Like people are always gonna have Ali as their one of their ones. Even though we didn't grow up around, we didn't see Ali in real time. We still know the impact that Ali had on the sport of boxing, and how his major his major impact in the game is still felt to this day. You know what I'm saying? So even if you've never seen him fight, it's almost like he's a given to be in your top
Yeah,
five of
it's
all
it's
time.
no
You know
different
what I'm
from like
saying?
a Jordan,
Yeah,
Kareem, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Barry, guys like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
for sure.
like, so I have to put Ali up there. He's definitely top 10. He's definitely top 10 of all time. But top five, I'm not mad. It's an interesting conversation when we get into top five of all time because what he's done. You know what I'm saying? I get him props. I mean, he's undisputed in three different weight classes. So you have to, that probably boosters him up to top five of all time because only a very few selective have ever done that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I mean, you're talking Floyd, you're talking Manny Pacquiao's, you're talking guys like that.
Yeah.
So um to do what he did, you know what I'm saying? Like, and people have ducked him, people have doubted him, people have questioned his resume. He never was on the others, he never was like in this grouping with the Earl Spences and the Charlos and all the people that was under PBC, and he's never was on he wasn't a part of the money team or anything like that. Bud has always been on the island by himself, and because of that, a lot of people have doubted him. A lot of people have looked at him when he was on Top Rank. They tried to question his resume and the people he fought, and he ain't fought nobody. And then he fights Errol Spence, and it was like they had several different excuses for Errol Spence. Oh, Errol Spence had a car accident. Oh, he looked like he was sleepy, and he was high, and he was this. And they tried to take that away from Crawford. Then he fights Majumov, and I kept telling people about him that dude. So the thing about boxing is you can't compare this fight to that fight.
Yeah.
This is why they say styles make fights.
Yeah.
You can't compare what he did to this guy with this guy compared to what he's gonna do with this person, because everybody just don't fight the same. There are
Mhm.
just some guys, and Mazurmov is one of those guys who are just awkward. You can't get their timing down because of their movement, their
Mhm.
feints, the way they doing stuff, and it's just like, man, I'm trying
Yeah.
to get inside, but I can't because his movement is weird, and it's
Yeah.
like it took Crawford a little bit of time. Now, I think in the later rounds, I think he started getting it down a little bit more, and he started putting together some combinations, and he pulled it out at the end. And I also think that him moving up to 154 was just it was his first fight at
Yeah.
154, and he was getting used to the weight.
Mhm.
Um, but and I had this conversation last week at the job. with a coworker, and he was just like, "Man, he should have lost to Marjamov, and it should have been a draw." It was like, bro, no, he won the later rounds. Relax, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then everybody's saying, "Oh, with the power and all this, and him moving up," and I'm just like, bro, Canelo's not the biggest 168. Like he's big, but he's not David Benavidez big.
No,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Crawford was the bigger fighter. He had the inches, he had the reach, he had it all.
He's
Like,
not even like Caleb Plant was bigger than Canelo.
yeah, yeah,
The other Charlo brother is bigger than Canelo. You know what I'm saying? So um him moving to 168 and then fighting each other, it's almost like when Roy Jones moved up to heavyweight and fought John Ruiz.
yeah.
Because John Ruiz was one of the lighter heavyweight fighters. He was like 215, 220 at best. So
Mhm.
Roy can move up to at least what 200, maybe get to 210 and be like, yeah, I can fight you. And he
Yeah,
did. And he won. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? And a lot of people didn't think Roy could do it because he's a bigger guy, he'll get hit. But Roy just outboxed him and made John Ruiz look dumb. So um I just look. I think that, like I said, I think Crawford should be up there at all time as top ten for sure. But top five, I'm not mad at either because you got to think of the Floyd Mayweathers. You got to put Floyd up there just because he's been undefeated. Nobody's ever beat him. So say what you want about Floyd, but we've never seen anything like Floyd. Not just as far as a boxer and skill wise, but as a businessman
yeah.
to max to
No,
ma-
yeah,
to maximize his dollars the way he did, and you clearly see that he's handling the business, not like on some like, oh, this dude's a superstar, and then years later we don't know what his man money at. You know what I'm saying? Like Mayweather was clearly, he took control. He promoted his own fights. He wasn't trying to hear no more because he was under top rank for a minute, and then he saw that the money ain't adding up. This ain't right. They taking too much. So let me start my own promotion and let me do it myself. Because De La Hoya and them were doing it, but De La Hoya got out the game after he started doing Golden Boy promotions and all that stuff. And then him and Bernard Hopkins connected and did Golden Boy together. But as somebody who was still fighting in the fighting game, Floyd was boxing on the main event and promoting everybody on the undercard.
yeah.
So you got to look at him as, not just a boxing great, but a boxing businessman too. So he's got to be up there for that alone. Um, Roy got to be up there because of what he did. Even though he had some bad losses towards the end of his career, to do with Roy, there will never be another Roy Jones Jr. Like from an athletic standpoint, the unorthodox style, you know, there will never be another Roy Jones Jr. So in my estimate, I think he's up there. And then I'll probably put Bud up in there. I will put Bud in there. Um, and then after that, it's kind of like it's kind of a toss up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Crawford needs to be in the conversation. I think he's in the conversations with Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr. If you're gonna
Yeah,
if you're gonna put them up there, you got to put Crawford up there. And
yeah,
um, I just think at the end of the day, however you want to order that, that's up to you. But he needs to be in those conversations. I just know this for a fact, though. For this era, he will be the face of this chapter of this era, and he is the main guy. He is the GOAT of this era, and it's not even close. I think this was kind of like the battle for that, and he won. He conquered, and then just the domination factor of all of this and him moving up, like I think that factors heavily in that too. With a guy that was seen as Canelo as this guy that was just going to steamroll through Crawford. That was the consensus from a lot of people. Whether you um, wanted that. Now there were some experts. There was actually a lot of some experts who believed in more in the Crawford aspect. I think more the fighters think sided with Bud a little bit more. When you really
Mhm.
looked at some of these interviews and stuff like that, I think a little bit more of the fighters and a little bit more of the experts were siding with Bud just based on the boxing aspect of it. But consensus, I mean, is mainly the public. I think assume that Canelo would dominate this, but again, man, Bud is definitely easily in the GOAT conversation of all time. Me personally, with all the greats, he just has to be. And again, we're not gonna sit here. I don't want to hear again. I'm repeating this, and I'm gonna say this one more time. I don't want to hear no disrespect on Crawford's name ever again. Don't say that because this man lives up to the challenge. And I don't know if this is going to be the last fight that we ever see of Crawford. I don't know what his future looks like. But if this is, I think this is a great way to go out. It sucks that this will be this might be the last fight that we ever see from Crawford because I really truly enjoy. He's been one of my favorite boxers to watch for a very, very long time. He's definitely up there with one of my favorites of all time. So if this is, man, salute to Crawford to an amazing career. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but if it is, I want to say this now. Congratulations, my brother. You deserve every accolade, every appearance, every award. You definitely got to be fighter of the year for sure in sports. And congratulations, and congratulations to Crawford and his Canelo and his family for an amazing fight, man. And we'll see where these two gentlemen go from here. I don't know. I don't know what Canelo could do. I know there's some fights out there that he potentially could take. The only one I could potentially see Crawford maybe look into, and I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, that may intrigue his eye for even greater history is maybe the Bivol fight. I think that would be kind of interesting. I don't know if he'll take it though, but I think the Turk's gonna find a way to try to get Crawford to do a fight. I don't know. We'll see. You know, he's gonna try to throw the bag at him. I don't know if he'll accept it though, but we'll see what happens with those two fights.
As far as I don't know where Crawford goes from here. I know he said in a press conference. I don't know. Maybe I'll go down to 160 and fight. Um, I don't know who he could fight at 160. I would have to look at the people in that card.
Maybe a catchweight with boots or something, or the arrow fight. I don't know. We'll see.
Is he?
Or maybe a Charlo fight. Could be a
Yeah,
Charlo fight.
that's what I'm saying. It would have to be the Charlo brother that fought Canelo. Because I know that those two have been going back and forth talking trash, and even when he beat up Errol Spence, that's who he was talking to at
Yeah.
that last round. When one of them
Yeah.
rounds, he was like looking at him when he was knocked down, talking to him. So I know those two have been chirping for a minute. So I think that would probably maybe be the play is with those two fight. We'll see what happens with Charlo and Errol Spence if those two end up fighting next year, and if they do, then I could possibly see it like Crawford saying, "Come on, come up here," because I'm not going back down to
Nah,
154.
he's not.
He
At the
said
end
it.
of the day, it's his way now. He gets all the he's the A side in any fight here on forward.
He was like, "Yeah, so come up here and be great and come fight me at 168. If you want to prove if Errol you beat Charlo, you want to prove that one fight was a fluke, come 168 and see what it do." You
See
know what
what
I'm
happens.
saying? And if Charlo, you feel like you could beat me, you feel like you better than Errol Spence, you beat Errol Spence, and maybe you beat him handily. Come up here 168 and let's see what it do. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I could see that. Now, as far as Canelo goes, I could see him. I could still see him fighting Benavidez
I low key think it's a higher probability now. Me personally.
because even though he lost in the fashion that he lost, I still think that this would still be the biggest fight in Benavidez's career.
Mm-hmm.
It would still be the biggest because the
Yeah.
only other fight that Benavidez can fight, there are only two other fights he can fight that would make any sense, and that's Bitter Beef at 175 or Bivol at
Yeah.
175.
Yeah. Those are the only two.
The
Yeah.
only two he could do. The other, and then of course Canelo. That's it.
Mhm.
Those are the three he can fight. You know what I'm saying? So I think him and Canelo could happen. Because if you're Canelo, if you beat Benavidez, you go out on your shield like that. Yeah, I lost to Crawford, but I beat Benavidez.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I took
Mm-hmm.
his belt.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at 175 he goes up and fights him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, you know what I'm saying? It says bump it. I'm gonna be great. If I lose, I can retire. If I
Mm-hmm.
win, I got a better 175, and maybe I can, and maybe Canelo can be like, well, then I can get my rematch with Bevo that I've
Okay.
been asking for,
Mhm.
because that's what
Yeah.
he's been wanting. Is he wants Bevo, so maybe he goes beats Benavidez and makes that happen. So I think Canelo has options. You know what I'm saying? Would I be surprised if he said, you know what, I had a career, you know what I'm saying? I'm done with everything I need to do. I want to retire. I can see that too, but I could also see him like bump it. Me, Benavidez, Mexican versus Mexican. Let's get it.
I don't think the Turk will allow Canelo to retire. He signed that 4-fight deal, so the Turk gonna get his 3 more fights. He gonna get his 3 more
I
fights.
think he wants him to fight that dude though.
The
The
what's his
one,
name?
the dude from, I think he's from Saudi. I think he's from Saudi Arabia. The one
Yeah,
that just beat
but
them.
why do that now? Get your money with the Benavidez, get your money with the Bivol, and you can have Canelo's last fight be that, and set that guy up to be next in line for because that's what he wants. I'm assuming that's what he wants. He wants him to be the star of that division. So
Yeah,
set him up the correct way. Have Canelo fight Benavidez, have Canelo fight Bivol, and then his last fight will be against him. And then we assume at that time Canelo doesn't care if he takes the loss, and he can just move forward, and he has his hundreds of millions of dollars and whatever other businesses he has in line, and then the Turk can set his fighter up for success. I think that's honestly the play right there.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man.
Congrats to both guys for an amazing event.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's talk some college football, man. So week 3 happened. You know what I'm saying? And there was some really good matchups this weekend. The first one we had Tennessee versus Georgia, and that game was a back and forth. Tennessee got off to a strong start. Their offense, led by Joey Aguilar, was sharp early on. Chris Brazil second had a monster game, 6 catches for 177 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had a big play, including 72-yard touchdown early, a 14-yard score later in the fourth quarter, and a 56-yard touchdown in the third that gave Tennessee the lead. Uh, Georgia, they struggled a little bit, but then they got their groove back, and it was a back and forth, man. It went down to the wire, and it went into overtime. But Georgia pulled it out over Tennessee, 44-41. But it was a really good, highly competitive game.
Yeah, it gave me flashbacks to the Alabama Georgia game last year. It really
Mhm.
showed. It really was very similar. I think even with the loss, I think Tennessee should hold their heads up high. It was a great game to the end. It was two playoff contending teams. Aguilar looks amazing. I think that offense looks amazing. I think both defenses could obviously play better, but at the end of the day, it's college football, man. You're gonna have your ups and downs, man. You're gonna play some elite offenses, man. But I think overall, man, this was a great game. I think both teams should be highly impressed with both sides, and I wouldn't be surprised if we potentially could get a rematch in the playoff.
Yeah,
And
for
you know
sure.
what I mean? I think Tennessee has a really great shot to make the playoff. I think they do.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with that team.
yeah, me too. Um, then you had Georgia Tech upsetting Clemson 24-21. Georgia Tech
Called it.
got off to an early lead, 2 field goals from Aiden Burr, and a rushing touchdown from the offense pushed them up before Clemson really got going. And then Clemson responded in the third, a touchdown run by Cade Kublik and a passing score to Brian Wesco Jr. shifted momentum in their favor. Fourth quarter saw back and forth. Georgia Tech mounted a long drive, got a touchdown, successfully executing a 2 point conversion to take the late lead. Clemson tied it late, 21-21, setting up a Georgia Tech final drive with no timeouts under pressure. Aiden Bird nailed a 55-year-old field goal as time expired to win it and upset Clemson. So what are your thoughts, sir? Is it over for Dabo Sweeney?
I called it. I called it. I've been saying this since before the season even started that Georgia Tech could surprise and make the playoffs and honestly win that conference. Like I was a I was a true believer at the way they ended last year, and I like King as a quarterback. And that defense impressed me a lot. Um, Yes, I think it's over for Dabo and Clemson. This team has looked putrid the last 3 weeks, even with the one win that they had. Like they were down to Troy in the first half, and a team that they should have dominated, and they barely won that game. Like K. Kublik, like his stock has plummeted. Like he's looking like a fifth round, maybe even a sixth round quarterback pick. You know what I mean? Like, and he looked terrible. That team looked terrible. That defensive line that we've been touting that this was supposed to be this great defensive line that was supposed to like shake up the universe in college football has not impressed. That defense, like they have their moments, but that offense looks terrible. Again, it's the same issue that Dabo has been having since who was the last one there? Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was the last great college quarterback that they had. Besides that, man, this offense has looked the same. It looks putrid. It looks like it can't run the ball. It has no creativity. And sooner or later, Dabo needs his feet need to be held to the fire. And I know they'll never do that because what Dabo has built and meant to that program at Clemson.
Yeah.
But come on, man, it gets to the point where it's just like Dabo, this team is not getting better. It's only going to get harder. It's only going to get harder from here. Like their schedule is not like you can't. Let's look at their schedule. Like what does Clemson schedule? Like they got Syracuse coming up. That could potentially be a loss. You know what I mean? I know Syracuse is 2-1 right now. You got North Carolina. Like I think that would be a true embarrassment for them to lose the North Carolina game. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You got Boston College. You still got SMU. You got Florida State, which is about to dog walk y'all. Louisville, and then obviously South Carolina had a bad loss. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but they could potentially still win. But I don't like Clemson's about to have like 4 or 5 losses this year. With that team, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, without all the high expectations with this team, I agree. It's not good. It's not good for Dabo right now, but we'll see. They started off slow last year, and then they kind of ended it pretty good.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Now we're doing that. It's like the same conversation with Cincinnati Bengals. You know what I mean? Like it's like, all right, you're gonna have these slow starts, but not with this team, not with college football, not with how much they paid Dabo Swinney, how much they paid for this roster. Like they finally opened up the checkbooks for this NIL stuff, and yet you still look like dog water in a conference that you should be dominating. You should be dominating. The only team that should have any fear for this Clemson team is that Florida State team. Let's be real. That's the only team that they should have any fear of that could potentially beat them. Not even South Carolina. Like they had their flaws. Like they're talented, but they got their flaws. But Florida State is the only team. And yet they can't even they could barely beat Troy. At home at that. It wasn't even like it was on the road. It was at home. You paid a team $2 million to almost beat you. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, not good. Texas A&M beat Notre Dame 41-40. Notre Dame appeared to take the lead late. Jeremiah Love ran a touchdown to put them ahead 40-34 with about 2 minutes and 53 seconds left. A crucial special teams miscue, a botched extra point. Snap hold kick by Notre Dame turned what could have been a 7-point lead into a 6, which made all the difference. On Texas A&M's final drive, they engineered a 13-play, 74-yard march and caped it with an 11-yard touchdown from Marcel Reed to tight end Nate Kicker, or whatever his name is, on 4th and goal with 13 seconds left on the clock. So Notre Dame was flagged on a crucial defensive holding penalty during that A&M final drive that kept the drive alive. So, what are your thoughts on Notre Dame being 0-2 right now?
Tough loss, man. That was a brutal loss for Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman in that program. I'm highly disappointed in this defense. I expected more from this Notre Dame defense. I don't see how they get out of this, man. As far as like, let me look at their schedule. Like, it's not looking good. Like their schedule, I don't think is highly touted enough for them to potentially get back into a chance to make the playoffs. Man, they would literally have to run, win the rest of the way, and they're going to have to be very, very dominant in that and kind of prove to this committee that they should be in that conversation of making the playoffs. But yeah, this is a terrible loss for Marcus Freeman in that program. They had a lot of high hopes. I think I thought this was probably their best opportunity to maybe compete for a national championship for me. But, it sucks, man. But props to Texas A&M. Marcel Reed, I was truly impressed by that offensive side of the football. We all know Texas A&M is a tough program to play against, no matter where it's at, whether it's at Texas A&M or when they go on the road. So shout out to Texas A&M, but this is a brutal loss for that Notre Dame program.
Yeah, for sure it is. It is. It's. Whew. Yeah, they got the work cut out.
Marcus Freeman. Yeah, I don't think he's deserving of being on a hot seat, but you know how they're going to do it at Notre Dame. They're gonna hold that man's feet to the fire for sure.
Yeah, for sure. uh, LSU defeated your Florida Gators 20-10. Why you do all that? LSU leaned heavily on defense rather than explosive offense. Florida outgained them in total yardage, but made enough mistakes that LSU could stay in the game. Florida had what appeared to be a huge 87-yard touchdown pass to Jaden Ba, called back by a holding penalty. That swing prevented them from gaining a big cushion early. A big play for LSU was Deshaun Spears' interception return, 58 yards for a touchdown in the third quarter. That opened up the margin. Florida's quarterback DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions in the game. Many of them come on third down situations. Turnovers were really the undoing for Florida. Penalties also hurt Florida, including a couple of costly holding calls. One negated that long touchdown to Bach. How you feeling, sir?
Billy Napier had a press conference. You know what this man said?
Well,
he said we're close to being pretty dangerous, in my opinion. That was his quote. That was the head coach of Florida Gators quote. We're close to being pretty dangerous. This team is the same team that we've been looking at for the last couple years, man. DJ Lagway played terrible. 5 interceptions is unacceptable. We expect higher than that. Our defense played pretty damn good as usual. Our defense is always legit. I think our defense is always one of the top ones in of the year. But we fled out because our defense gets tired, injured, because we're on the field so much, because our offense can't do anything. And this offense should be able to produce. But we have a head coach that is just, and I mean this in such. I know it's going to sound disrespectful, but I'm not trying to be disrespectful. He's an idiot. He's very idiotic, bro. He does not know the temperature of the room. And this AD and this organization of a college needs to just like get him out of the way. Pay him whatever you need to pay him to get this program back to the way it used to be. Florida was a premier football program. It was up there with the likes of Bama, Florida State back in the day, Notre Dame. It's on that prestige. USC's, Texas. Florida is on that prestige of football. Penn State, Ohio State, they should be up there. We haven't been up there in a long time. We have a very talented team. We have a very talented quarterback, no matter how piss poor he played, because some of them interceptions were bad. They were terrible decisions. And I get it. He needs more gameplay. But you're not putting him in the best situation. Billy Napier does not put this team in the best situation. It's the same thing every year with this squad and this head coach and this coaching staff. Get them out of Florida. Get them out of Gainesville. What are you doing? What more do you need to see? What more do you need to see? Billy Napier is not a good head coach for this program. He could probably be better somewhere else. But get him out of Florida. Call Urban Meyer. Call somebody. Call John Gruden. Call Dion. There's candidates out there that can take this program back to where it needs to be. You have Miami flourishing. You have Florida State back being dominant. Florida is the worst Florida program. Even USF. USF is better than goddamn Florida right now. Central Florida is probably better. Well, USF, they beat us. I don't care how they looked against Miami. They beat us.
That's right.
And our house.
That's right.
So they are better than us. Get him out of Florida. Get him out of Gainesville. He sucks. Billy Napier is terrible. And you have this comment, oh, we're close to being dangerous. We're not even close to being good. We're not even close to being respectable. What are you talking about? With the schedule that we got coming up, we got Miami coming up. We got Texas coming up. We still got Georgia. We still got Florida State. Like, what are we talking about? Texas A&M. This team might win one game all year. Let's be honest, we might have a shot against Texas because Arch Manning looks like dog shit. But besides that, tell me what game we're going to be favored in. Tell me. I'm going to read you the schedule, Chris, and you tell me if you're going to be favored, yes or no. Next up, Miami.
No.
Texas.
Maybe.
Texas A&M.
No.
Mississippi State.
No.
Georgia.
No.
Kentucky.
Yes.
Ole Miss.
No.
Tennessee.
No.
Florida State.
No.
So, bro, what are we talking about, man? You gave us one maybe and one yes. So that's a 3-win season? Yeah. Okay. We're close to being dangerous. All right, buddy. Yeah, right, man.
What okay, if you don't get rid of Billy Napier, what are some things that you want to see them do? What is the problem with the offense? What do you see as the issue?
The creativity. I don't see no creativity. It seems like DJ Lagway is not being taught. It's kind of like the conversation we had. Remember when you told me about the Tom Brady interview where it's like, if Caleb Williams doesn't produce by Thanksgiving, like we need to find a new. But even Tom Brady, as you eloquently told me what he said, are you properly preparing your coach? Do you have a great offensive coordinator? Do you have a great quarterback coach? Are you teaching them how to read zones? Are you teaching them how line protection? Are you teaching them how to, read particular type of stuff? Are you teaching them how to read a playbook, to look at video? I'm like, are you doing these things? Because you can't sit here and tell me DJ Lagway isn't as talented as any other quarterback in this nation. He has all the tools to be a great quarterback, to be a top 3 quarterback that's drafted in the NFL. He looks terrible. So what else do I need to see? This coaching staff is not properly preparing this team to succeed. It's every year with this offense. It's repeatable. You keep hoping for change. It's insanity for hoping for change when you see the same thing every year. It's the same problem. It's not talent. It's the coaching staff. You give me any coaching staff. You give me Georgia's coaching staff, and you put it on this Florida Gators team. This Florida Gators team is the top 3 team in the nation. You give me Texas A&M staff, I got a top 3 team in the nation. Hell, you give me Marcus Freeman, we got a top 3 team in the nation. You give me Dabo, it's gonna look like this. You know what I mean? You give me Dabo, it's gonna be bad. But come on, man. What do you see? I know you probably don't pay too much attention to the Florida Gators team and all that, but what are your thoughts? Am I crazy or am I right?
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to properly give an assessment on your team because I haven't really sat down and watched how your offense is ran. I see the highlights and, I see the big plays down the field and all that stuff. And I know Lagway has a big arm and he's an athlete, so he can run. So I don't know what kind of system Billy Napier runs. I don't know if he runs an RPO system, a read, zone read type of, pro style. I don't know what type of offense he runs. So I couldn't properly give you an assessment. Maybe I have to sit down and just be like, all right, let me see how y'all run y'all offense. Cause I don't know. Again, and I don't know. I know you got the what's his name? Varnell. Is his name Varnell Miller?
Yeah.
I think his name is. I know you got that kid. He's a receiver, right?
Yeah.
I know he's pretty good. I don't know your running game situation. I don't know if you guys got any good running backs. I mean, I'm sure Florida got athletes, 5-star guys up there, but I don't know if he's any good. You know what I'm saying? Just because they have 5-star don't mean he's good.
It's not talent. I'll tell you right now, it's not talent. We got talent. We got talent to compete with any team. Like you saw it, like our defense is up there. Like we can compete. It's not talent. This is all coaching.
Your defense definitely is good. If LSU was only able to score 20 points. I mean,
we should have won. Without those turnovers, we win the game. You know what I mean? Without those mental mistakes, we win the game. Like this is the same situation. We played down to our opponents like USF. We should have dominated them. Like with all due respect to that team, I think they should be highly proud of what they've been able to accomplish so far early in the season. But Florida Gators should have never lost to that team, especially at home. Like we look putrid on offense. And the same thing goes with LSU. Go to LSU and we play up to the competition. But then mental mistakes, bad throws. It looks like some of these interceptions, like he don't know what he's looking at. And then bad holding calls. Like we had the situation where the player spit on the player. We had that situation that cost us the USF game. It's mental error. We had another mental error that cost us the touchdown. This is stupidity stuff that coaches should be coaching players out of. But obviously you don't do that. But then you're going to go here and say that we are close to being dangerous. Like what are we talking about? That's coaching.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, these are young kids. You got to put them in the best situation. You got to teach them to be professionals. At the end of the day, like, what are we doing?
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, man. I'm sorry, dog. Texas Longhorns beat UTEP 27-10. Uh, Texas was terrible in this, especially in this first half. They were just bad. Um, March Manning was not good in this game.
Yeah, like
Uh,
10 incompletions in a row or something like that. Something
yeah,
crazy to
he had
that.
the touchdown run in the first quarter, and then they had the little 5 yard touchdown round, giving them a 14-3 lead. And then in the second half, Texas they just pretty much played game control because they're just better than UTEP. They should have blew out UTEP. That's what they should have did. But it wasn't a good showing. It wasn't a good showing from Arch, and I think they got who they got next. Sam Houston. They got to show something better than Sam Houston because after that
Oh,
they got
I'm not worried
chopped.
about my. I ain't worried about that. like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And yes, we are live. We are live right now. Yeah, honestly, like Arch he looks bad. He deserves to get booed. And I get it. A lot of the hype and all that, it wasn't like it was on him. It wasn't like he was tuning his own horn. A lot of that came from the outside. But you could just tell it's still a lot of pressure on that kid. I still think there might be something wrong with his shoulder or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that they're not kind of telling us, but it just looks bad. I don't see how you have Texas being a top 10 team. It's looking more and more likely that this team is probably not going to make the playoffs. But he could get better. He could get better. Like there's still that opportunity. Like they're still winning these games. So I guess that is the positive outlook at that. Like, yeah, they have Sam Houston. Yeah, they got to go to Florida. Even though how bad we're playing, it's still going to be a tough matchup, especially against that defense. So it will be tough for him. But then you got the big, huge matchup with Oklahoma right after that. So they better get their act together soon, or they're going to be in the same, or Sarkisian's going to be in the same boat with Dabo. And I think it'll be a lot more heat for him. Like if he does not win and he doesn't get this team correct, especially how much money they invested into this team, Arch Manning and all that, yeah, bye-bye Sark. He going to be out of a job.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Uh, Vanderbilt defeated South Carolina 31-7. Uh, people, if you don't know, Lenore Sellers, starting quarterback for South Carolina, he was knocked out in the second quarter on a helmet-to-helmet hit by Vanderbilt's Langston Patterson.
Yeah.
Patterson was injected for the game for targeting. Sellers had already thrown an interception in the red zone with the game tied 7-7. After his exit, he did not return. Luke Doherty the backup quarterback, came in. The Commodores opened the scoring with a 9-play, 73-yard drive. It ended with an 18-yard touchdown from Diego Pivea to Cedric Alexandra. Uh, what else? Pivea threw another touchdown to Junior Sherrill before halftime to make it 14-7. After halftime, Vanderbilt extended the lead with a 44-yard touchdown run by Jimzel Leicester. A long field goal by Vanderbilt in the fourth quarter helped seal the momentum, plus an additional short touchdown by Cedric Alexander. Uh, Vanderbilt forced 4 turnovers, and South Carolina committed several penalties after Sellers was injured. Their offense struggled, especially in the second half. So, what's your thoughts?
Just a tough injury. We all know that injury kind of derailed that game. Hopefully he'll be okay. I don't know if they have a game this week and he's gonna miss it or anything like that. I'm not really familiar with their schedule coming up, but no, prayers out to Sellers, man. Hopefully he's okay. Scary look, you know what I mean, as far as like those helmet to helmets and stuff like that, and dealing with concussions is always a scary thing. But props out to Vandy, you know what I mean. They were able to win that game, and Vandy always. I feel like the last couple of years, Vandy always has that one where they can, upset somebody. Last couple of years, I think last year they did it to Alabama, but tough loss for South Carolina. But hopefully, Sellers can bounce back, and his team can bounce back as well.
Yeah, because there's high hopes for Sellers. A lot of
Yeah,
people are sold on him, so and they look at him as a top pick in the 2027 draft, so maybe even next year's draft.
yeah.
But they look at him as a top quarterback coming out because he has all the measurables. But
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see if this derails them or not. It'll be something that definitely have to look at. So,
Right.
all right, this last game up. Um, then you had Ole Miss versus Arkansas. Yeah. Ole Miss beat Arkansas 41-35. The first half was explosive, lots of scoring. By halftime, it was tight. Ole Miss led Arkansas 31-28. Chambliss scored two short rushing touchdowns and three 6-yard touchdowns to Dezan Stribling to help build a lead in the third quarter. Arkansas responded well, especially in the air on the ground, but couldn't stop Ole Miss from putting together enough drives, enough plays to stay ahead. Late in the fourth quarter, Arkansas was driving, had a chance to take the lead, but TJ Doherty forced a strip that Wandell Williams recovered. The turnover the ball was basically the game sealer. So, um, how are you feeling about Ole Miss this season? Do you think that they're viable for the playoffs and being a national championship contender?
No, they're viable for the playoffs, but you got to have some hesitancy with this team. Like they've been in a lot of close games, and it's going to be one of these weeks where this offense doesn't produce the way it needs to produce, and that defense is going to need to step up. So it's going to tell me a lot when that game does happen, how they respond to that when their offense isn't clicking. So right now, it's still kind of like a wait and see approach with them, but I think they have the offense to compete. It's just can that defense live up to any kind of ability to, hold this side of the football field when that offense isn't clicking? Because we all know that there's going to be a game or two when that happens. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of turnover at Ole Miss right now, so they're still trying to
Yeah.
figure themselves. They got a new quarterback, new offensive weapons over there too. So and probably got some new people that they trying to work in there. Lane Kiffin, he's going to get them. Offensively, they're always going to be right with Lane Kiffin because he's one of those top offensive minds in the game. But we'll see how Ole Miss looks, later down in the year. They've had some tough games early, and like you said, it's come down to the wire. But we'll see. We'll see going forward. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see.
All right, man. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. It's power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris and Mall to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris and Mall to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
Shout out to Manic Sports Drink. Go ahead and get y'all sports drink now. Go and order it now.
Oh man, hold on real quick. What were your thoughts on the whole situation with UCLA, Nico, the firing of Foster, and all that? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean,
Before we move on to
I saw it coming. I saw it coming.
Mhm.
I just think, even without the Nico thing, I just think that it's just not working for whatever Deshaun Foster's doing over there is just not working, man. They're
Yeah,
not competitive. I mean, I'm sure they're getting some good recruits over there, but it's hard to get recruits at UCLA, man, because the academic requirements. Like you got to be damn near a genius to go go to UCLA, man. Like it's hard to get in there. So even if you
yeah,
do have football skills, like you got to be super smart. You know what I'm saying to go to UCLA. So
mhm.
um, I'm sure he's got an uphill battle, and he's battling with USC to get recruits and Oregon and like that whole pipeline. Now he might have to deal with UNLV because Dan Mullen's getting his pipeline going through that area. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
more kids are gonna want to go to UNLV, and he's because Dan is like leaning into like using that whole Vegas scenery and what we got over here, what we could offer for you, just not just as a football player, but the excitement of living in Vegas and coming here. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
he's got an uphill battle, man. And I just think that it was just best for Deshaun Foster to just get fired and go somewhere else, man. Go
Yeah,
do your
yeah.
thing somewhere else, man. Maybe you go to a different school that doesn't have those type of expectations on you and just build your
Mhm.
resume that way. Because I don't think I want to say it's a reflection of him as a head coach. You know what I'm saying? I just think certain situations are just tough, man. And coaching at
Mhm.
UCLA, it's not an easy job.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I think I equate it as coaching at Stanford. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like it's hard to get recruits to come to those schools, man, because they just
Yeah,
their
you gotta
academic
find.
requirements, dog. They just too much. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Not to say
Mhm.
that these kids are stupid. It's just
Yeah,
it's
but you got the likes of like Notre Dame. You got to go up against Penn State. You know, what I mean, some of the academic stuff that they have to, you have to go through to get into those kind of colleges and stuff like that. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
so. Shout out to Sean Foster, man. I hope he bounce back and gets his stuff going, man.
Hmm.
And as far as Nico goes, it's been downhill since the summer. You know what I'm saying? And there's reports that his dad is the one that requested to get out of there and requested more money. Then he leaves. Then pretty much tell his son that he's not as good as you think he is. So you got to take a pay cut now. When he could have just stayed at Tennessee, develop more at Tennessee. You see, Tennessee is rolling right now, even though they lost, but they still look good.
Yeah, like
Offensively, they're still rolling.
yeah, like it wasn't on the offense's fault. Like at the end of the day, Aguilar's looked better than Nico, even when Nico
Hmm.
was there. You know what I mean? Like, that's a point where it's like I get it. You don't want to disrespect your dad, but at the end of the day, you got a life. You got to. This is when you got to start dictating what you want to do. If you didn't want to leave, you had the opportunity to tell your dad, "I'm good. I'm happy where I'm at. I love the situation that's got going on. There's not like going to UCLA is not going to help me." With as far as like competing and trying to elevate myself to get to the NFL because my ultimate goal is to get to the NFL. Now you have a wasted year. You have a wasted year. You know what I mean? And it's going to be even harder for you to make the draft. And you're not going to be a top pick. You're not going to be a first round pick, second round pick, third round pick. You're looking at the later rounds, like fifth, sixth at this particular point. Unless if you're somehow getting into an institution and you change your ways and you're able to like kind of do what a Carson Beck is doing, like you know what I mean, reinvigorate your career. And that's what he's going to need to do. But again, he had problems at Tennessee already with the consistency of his play. So
Yeah,
this ain't a good look.
yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's talk some WNBA.
Yeah.
Let me pull this bracket up real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Bam. Get that out of here. All right, man. So this is the bracket. You know what I'm saying? I know the playoff stuff, but I just want to give everybody a look at the bracket right now. So we got the Lynx, number one. They're the number one seed. They're facing Golden State Valkyrie. The Las Vegas Aces got the number two seed. They're facing Seattle. Atlanta got the three seed. They're facing Indiana. And then Phoenix is fourth seed, and New York Liberty are the fifth seed. So this is the breakdown of the brackets. Yesterday was the start of the playoffs. Uh, you had uh, you had the Valkyrie and the Lynx playing. The Lynx blew them out 101-72. Um, it wasn't really close. Lynx are just head shoulder better than the Valkyrie. Valkyrie
Mhm.
they were a great story. It's one of those. They were a great story. They made it to the playoffs, but they're running into a buzzsaw right now, man. And it's just and it wasn't even like Nafisha Collier had a solid game. She had 20 points. McBride had 17. Williams had 11. Shepard had 12 off the bench. Hederman had 18 off the bench. Like, like the team is just too good, man. So, shout out to the Lynx, but they handle business.
No, yeah, I think with the Golden State look, they had a promising first quarter. They were up 28-21 at the end of the first quarter. So,
Yeah.
um, It looked promising, but again, it's kind of how you said it, like, the conversations we had about the Valkyrie, like, great team, great coach team, but they're missing key talent. They're missing some superstar style talent that could go up against the likes of a Nafisa and get that offense in the consistency state. But we all knew this was going to be, we all knew the Lynx were going to be the ultimate favorites in this series, and they kind of proved it. Again, it wasn't the best Nafisa Collier game. But at the end of the day, they were able to get consistency outside of her. You know what I mean? With, Kyla McBride, 17. Courtney Williams played a good game. She had 11, 4, 4, and 4. Jessica Shepard had a big game off the bench, as well as Natisha Heidman. You know what I mean? So, it's just a deep team, and it's nothing against the Valkyrie. Like, I think they'll get better as these years go on. They add depth to that talent. The atmosphere there at Golden State, the head coach is one of the best young head coaches in the game, and she's going to be around for a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if she won the Coach of the Year this year. So, like, nothing to be offended, but the Lynx are just going to be the better team, and we all knew that.
Yeah, for sure. Then the Fever, they end up beating the Dream end up beating the Fever 80-68. Just it was a cool game, but Atlanta pulled away and end up beating them. Kelsey Milcher actually had a really good game. She had 27 points. But that was only it. Everybody else was kind of just not there. But shout out to Alicia Gray. She had 20 points. Ryan Howard had 20 points herself, and Jones had about 12 points herself. So they were just, the better team on this night. We'll see how the next night goes in Indiana. That'll be an interesting game when they play next time.
Yeah, I just think with this game, like, I just think Kelsey Mitchell didn't get no help. Like, it was just pretty much the Kelsey Mitchell show. You expect more from Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston had a bad game. She only had like 8 points. She was -6 and plus minus. She did have like 12 rebounds and 5 assists, but she needs to be more productive on the offensive side. It can't just rely heavily on Kelsey Mitchell. Like Lexi Hall, she was -13 and plus minus. She only had like 9 points. They didn't get anything off the bench. Like, Bree Hall and Area Powers combined for only 9 points, like off the bench. So that's not good, especially against this team. And obviously, I don't even think the Atlanta Dream bench really did anything spectacular either, but that starting lineup for the Dream was amazing. Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, Nas Hillman, Brianna Jones, like, they all produced. So that just makes it even tougher for Kelsey Mitchell and all that. She needs help. If Kelsey Mitchell can get some help, I think this series could be a little bit more interesting. I still think Atlanta should win the series, but and I expect that Atlanta Dream bench to be a little bit better in the second game, but the Kelsey Mitchell needs help. And obviously, with all the injuries that the people have had all year, like, it's kind of showing right now.
Yeah, for sure. Excuse me, I'm having a little technical difficulties over here. Let me close this down. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I hear you.
All right.
I hear you. You moving around?
All right, because it was tripping. Then you had the Liberty versus the Phoenix Mercury. Now, I knew this series was going to be a dogfight. I knew these two were going to go at it the most. This is probably going to be the most interesting series in the first round. And it came down to overtime. New York ended up winning 76-69. Stewart had 18. Liberty. Stewart had 18. I think tripping. Oh, man. Yeah, Stewart had 18, Cloud had 23, Anescu had 16. And then on Phoenix, Alyssa Thomas, she had 14, Copper had 15, and then Bonner had 12 off the bench. But it came down to overtime in this game, man. It was real close, but the Liberty ended up pulling it out. Um, I'm gonna ask you a question. Is there any level of concern with the Liberty
I
right
think they're
now
starting to line up. Yeah,
and
I
how
think
they?
they're starting to line up. They're starting to line up either produces or it's a bust. Like they're pretty much relying heavily on Emma to be the sixth man and produce off that bench. But you got to look like they DNP'd Isabella Harrison, Stephanie Talbot, Nari Sabali, Marion Jones. Like they only played 3 people off the bench. So you're relying heavy minutes on Brianna Stewart, who's just coming off an injury, Jonquel Jones, who's had an injury problem, Sabrina Ionescu, like Natasha Cloud. Like you're asking for heavy minutes. This is very similar to New York Knicks, and we all saw what happened with the New York Knicks. So again, if this starting lineup could be easily be one of the best starting lineups in all of the WNBA, but they're going to need some production, especially when it comes to when you playing these better teams like the Lynx and the Aces and all that. Even against this Mercury team, like you expect more from this Mercury team. Like Satu, like I expect more from Satu. I think she'll have a better game next game. And I think the production with DeWanna Bonner, I trust that a little bit more than what the Liberty have. It's just gonna be interesting. If this starting lineup produces like they did yesterday, I think they'll win. But again, it was a close game. It went into overtime. It wasn't like they dominated that series. And you're only gonna play better teams from here on out, especially if you're able to get out of this round. And you'll probably play they'll probably play with the Aces or something after
that. No, I think they
the Dream.
Aces
Or the Dream. They played the Dream. Yeah, they played the Dream.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, man. Liberty, man, they didn't look too good down the stretch to me. I know injuries played a part of it, but I thought they were starting to get healthy and get people back. And I don't know, they fell from being the second best team to down to 5.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as you saw, the Aces ascend, the Liberty were just slowly descending. So the Las Vegas Aces dismantled Seattle Storm. This game wasn't even close. They won 102-77. Asia Wilson, she had 29 points. She was amazing. Jackie Young had 18. Nalissa Smith had 11. You had Jewel Lloyd, 14 off the bench. Dana Evans had 13 off the bench. Like, this team, man, is just they're the hottest team right now. And they're just a well-oiled machine. They're just rolling right now. I'm not trying to sound like a homer right now, but I don't see nobody beating this team right now. Maybe the Lynx have a great chance, and they're probably the other team that destroying everybody. But right now, I just don't see nobody beating the Aces right now. They're just on a mission.
Yeah, I just think you're going to need depth to beat this team. Like, you got to look at the Aces. They literally played everybody on the roster talk. And I get it. Like, the team blowed it out, so you're going to play more. You're going to get more deeper into your bench. But you got to look at the bench, man. Like, you got Megan Gustafson, you got Kia Stokes, you got Jewel Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd and Dana Evans both played over 20 minutes. And that's off the bench. And then you still got Nalissa Smith. Kurt, we got Kyle Kuzma. She getting starter minutes and stuff.
Why are you calling her that, man? I mean, shout out to Kuzma, man. That is small. That's not me. That is small.
Yo, shout out to Kyle Kuzma, aka Kirsten Bell. She gave you 5 points. She was 1 for 5, but I like how you. But Asia Wilson's the best player in this league, and I get it. Nafisa Collier, she's up there with them. Like, you could say it's 1A, 1B, but I'm gonna go with Asia, and I'm gonna trust Asia. Like, she's been in a lot of big games. She's been able to close out series. That's the one thing with Nafisa. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen her being able to close out the big game, and she doesn't have them chips. Asia does. And then with this squad, Chelsea Gray, Chelsea Gray didn't even have the best game. She only had 5.6 assists and 4 rebounds, but she was plus 23. Jackie Young had a great game, 18.7 and 5. I'm like, this team is just loaded. And then you got this, and then you have a low key, she's older, but superstar talent, and Jewel Lloyd coming off the bench. So this team is loaded. And then I think we have the best head coach in the WNBA. So this team is loaded. As long as this team stays healthy, I personally think they're going to make it to the WNBA finals, and we'll go from there. And I think it's probably going to be Aces versus Lynx. Yeah. That's what I personally see. Like, I can't see anybody beating this team, and no one has beat this team in the last month and a half, 2 months. So,
yeah, for sure. And in Seattle, man, they got a lot
Yeah,
of older talent. They got
it's
talent. They
old
just got
talent,
older
man.
talent. I do that one girl that they drafted from France. What was her name? Malunga, I
Oh,
think her name is the
Dominique
center that
Malunga.
can
Yeah,
dunk.
she had 12
The one that
points.
can
Yeah,
dunk.
she had 12 points.
Yeah, but I think she has a bright future ahead, and I think they're gonna build around her next season. They'll be a formidable opponent. We'll see what happens with Skylar Diggins and
Guma K.
Gabby Williams, Guma K and all of them. See if they stay on the team or whatever. But if they build around this girl, I think that they'll have a bright future. But I just think that Aces are just head and shoulders better than
Nah, yeah,
them.
I
So
think Malunga will definitely. I think Malunga and Gabby Williams will be the two main players. I think they'll build around. Like Gabby Williams is still young. She's not that old. So, and
mhm,
then you still got some decent players. You still got like Lexi Brown and all that stuff like that. Erica Wheeler. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Like I think Skylar Diggins and Guma K and Neke Guma K.
mhm.
We just gotta see what they want to do going for the foreseeable future. Like we just got to see. But I think with this team, they just need to add a little bit more depth, get a little bit younger, and they'll be competing. What are you
Yeah, for
nodding your head
sure,
about?
for sure. No, I was reading about the Bengals, looking at
Oh, wow.
quarterbacks.
Mhm. You could talk about that when we get to the Bengals, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, man. Let's do our better Surefire
All right,
picks,
man.
man.
Let's do it.
All right, man. What you got?
So tonight I'm gonna surprise a little everybody. I'm gonna take the Texans money line against the Bucks. I think that defense is still something to be reckoned with. I think this offense could be a lot better. Obviously, the performance that they had last week was bad. That offensive line didn't look really good. They had no running game. But I think with this being their first home opener, I think they'll get a little juice. I think Nico Collins has a good game. I'm gonna take the money line with the Texans. I'm gonna take the Chargers and Raiders. I'm gonna take the under 47. Divisional game. I think it'll be a tight knit game. I think it'll be kind of nip and tuck. I could see like a 24-23 type of game, or maybe a 21-20 type of game. Especially with the injury that we have with Brock Bowers. I think he will play, but you gotta hold your breath a little bit. Hopefully he can stay through. But I think it'll be a tight knit game. So I do love the under in that. And then tomorrow I'm gonna take the Dream -4.5 over the Fever. I just think the Dream are the better team. And then with all those injuries with what the Fever have, it's just pretty much the Kelsey Mitchell show. And I just don't think it will be enough. So.
All right, man. Shout out to my man Show. I'm about to do money lines today because he's the money line king. Uh, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm not buying it. I know it was only week one, but until I see better from this Houston offense, I can't buy into the program. So I'm taking Tampa Bay money line, baby, and I'm taking your Raiders money line. Besides, I need y'all to win anyway because I don't need the Chargers to go 2-0 in this division.
For sure.
If you look at the screen, if you look at the screen, you'll see the QR code for the BetUS website. This is first time users only. Put your information in, sign up, put the promo code JOIN125. You get 125% sign up bonus plus 10% gamblers insurance. That is 3 risk-free bets on first 3 deposits on $100 up to $5,000. That means on your first 3 deposits, if you bet $100 and you lose, you keep your money. So you could keep your money on your first 3 deposits, or you can win you some money. So go over there to BetUS, sign up, tell them Cris Alamo sent you. And that does it for our BetUS Surefire picks. All right, man. Let's go ahead and break down NFL Week 2. Get this music popping. All right. Give me a second. Man, there you go. All right, man. Thursday night football happened. Packers beat the Commanders 27-18. This game wasn't really close. Packers pretty much dominated this game. Jordan Love had a really good game. Um, this defense terrorized Jaden Daniels all day. They couldn't really get the running game going. Prayers to Austin Eckler. He did tear his Achilles in this game. So that was an unfortunate thing. But shout out to the Packers, man. They look like they're ready. They turned up. They got Michael Parsons. You know, that defensive line is flying over. The defense, period, actually looked really good. I don't know what's going on with the Commanders. Maybe this is just that sophomore. They kind of figured things out, figured out the system, and they're going to have to make some adjustments with Jaden Daniels. I know he's hurt, and he's in doubt for the next game. So we'll see. But they're going to have to figure some things out. I know Terry McLaurin didn't have training camp, so he's still trying to get revved up. They got to figure out the ways to get I know they got Debo kind of later in the game involved. He had a touchdown, but they got to figure out ways to make this offense a little bit more creative and open things up.
Nah, yeah, like you definitely saw the pure dominance of that defense and how fast it was. Like them cornerbacks, hey man, they really surprised me, man. They played really great ball. Obviously, you see the impact of what Michael Parsons brings to this team. Obviously, we also got to show some prayers out to Jaden Reed, who broke his collarbone, so he's going to be out for the foreseeable future as well. Washington, man, it just seems like it's that second year of bad luck, man. Injuries, you know, you got the Austin Eckler thing with, you know, which sucks, you know what I mean? We all kind of saw it, especially when he planted the foot back, trying to come back into the play. We saw, you know, his Achilles out, so he's going to be out for the next foreseeable future for a while. And obviously, it seems like Jaden Daniels isn't going to be able to play against my Raiders next week, which also sucks, you know what I mean, with a sprained knee. So you don't want to see that at all. You know, we all enjoy watching Jaden Daniels play, but it's tough, man. Especially, you know, let's say if my Raiders win tonight, you know, it's going to be a tough matchup, you know what I mean, for Washington. And, you know what I mean, Terry McLaurin's going to have to show out. They're going to have to involve Debo a little bit more. Ja'Cory Krosky-Moret, like he needs to be the number one guy next week. You know what I mean? They're going to have to pretty much run that ball a lot and try to, you know, who's the backup? Is it still who's the backup for Washington? Is it still let me look it up.
I don't know. And what's his name? Jones.
No, it's Marcus Mariota. So, you know, Marcus can always give you one good game. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he can't. We've seen it before, so he still has the opportunity. He can still have an opportunity to win next week, but it'll be obviously a little bit tougher. But they need to rely heavy on that running game, and I think Merritt can do that. You know, we see the explosion in him right there, and then obviously you still got Debo. He can play in the backfield as well, play a little bit of play action, some RPOs, and get Terry involved. And you know, I think that'll be kind of like their success, maybe against my Raiders. You know, try to get them by, you know, until Jaden Daniels is able to come back. But it's tough, man. It's tough. The schedule ain't gonna get easier for the Commanders, so hopefully they can get Jaden Daniels back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, for sure. The Rams beat the Tennessee Titans 33-19. This game wasn't close. It really wasn't. It got a little close early, but you know the Rams pulled away as the better team. That defensive line, what's the name's offensive line, is just bad. Cam Ward still running for his life. Even the throw he made in the red zone, where he had to throw across his body, like he had to run because defensive line was in his face. So this is just the growing pains of, you know, being on a bad team, man. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see if it grows from here. But the Rams, they looked a lot better on offense this week than they did last week, for sure. And you know, they got Puka Nacua going. They got Devontae Adams, I think he got going too. He had 106 yards and a touchdown. So this offense look a lot better. You know what I'm saying? I know they're playing the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, they got some guys on that defense. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the better defensive linemen over there. They got some Darius Sneed when healthy. It's still a really good corner over there. So yeah, man. Shout out to the Rams, man. They look like they right there in that NFC West race.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Shout out to my brother Morgan in the chat, man. We see you, my boy. Yeah, man. I think this offensive line for Tennessee is terrible. It's terrible. Like, hopefully he doesn't have a situation like Carr's brother where he gets PTSD and he gets beat up so much to the point where it's just like it breaks him as a quarterback. That's what you don't want to see with this team. But there's just nothing that they can do. There's nothing offensively that can do. The offensive, like Tony Pollard, he had a decent game. He had 20 carries for 92 yards. but it still doesn't leave an impact to help him relieve whatever pressure he has on that passing game. That passing game can't get going. And this Tennessee Titans head coach it's just at this point, I think it's time that I think it's going to be a strong consideration that they move on from this head coach. I think that could be a high probability at the end of the year. I just don't think they're going to put Cam Ward in the best situation. It's pretty much the same errors and same mistakes that they've been making since last year. And it doesn't like this team got any better at all, especially on the O-line. As far as like the Rams though, like this team looks like it's starting to finally click. Puka Nacua had a big touchdown. Devontae Adams looked really good. This team is going to be explosive. Kyron Williams looked really good. Matthew Stafford, he looks healthy for the most part. I know there's been big concerns with his back injury, but he's been able to stay upright. You know what I mean? That team looks good, and we all love that defensive line for the Rams and that defense. So, the Rams are going to be competing. You know what I mean? This NFC West is going to be tough with the Seahawks, 49ers, Rams, even the Arizona Cardinals, man. It's going to be a tough. It's going to be very interesting to see how this division plays out. But hey, man, you got to win these games. These are the games you need to win as the Rams, and they were able to do that and dominate it. So, shout out to them.
And the Rams got a big interesting matchup next week with the
Eagles in Philly too.
Yep. The Jacksonville Jaguars lose to the Bengals 31-27. Trevor Lawrence is still terrible quarterback. He can't get the ball to Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter. He threw 2 interceptions that were just bad. They were both terrible interceptions. But he had 3 touchdowns, 271 yards. Travis Etienne, he had a solid game, 71 yards on the ground. Parker Washington was the leading receiver. Donnie Brown had a touchdown. On the Bengals side, we all know that Joe Burrow's hurt. He got hurt. He has turf toe. He has to get surgery on that toe, which means he'll be out for 3 months, which to me, I don't even know why
he's out for the season.
Hell, you know why he's out for the season. I know Jake Browning is taking over. They're looking around for other quarterbacks, probably to be the backup, just in case something happens to Jake Browning. I hear Malik Willis' name being floated around. I know Malik has looked a lot better with the Packers. I would say that Matt LaFleur has made Malik Willis look like a good, viable backup. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can come in and probably win some games. So I wouldn't be mad at Malik Willis over to the Bengals, especially with those weapons. You know what I'm saying? So that would be a good little pickup. But it was the Jamar Chase show, yeah. Jay Brown is there where it's number one at, man, and just throwing the ball. And Jamar Chase had 14 catches, 165 yards, and a touchdown. This was a back and forth now. It was back and forth, but Bengals end up pulling out at the end when they scored a touchdown. I think Jake Browning had a QB sneak into the end zone, and he ended up winning the game. And shout out to them bastards over there in Cincinnati, but they won.
Yeah, man. It's a tough blow for Cincinnati. You know what I mean? I think this kind of takes them out of me personally, I think this takes them out of playoff contention. I know Jake Browning had a decent game. You know what I mean? He still threw 3 interceptions. But this was more on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're the main reason why they lost this game. Like, Trevor Lawrence threw 2 bad picks. I still don't understand. Like, you have right now, currently, I think you might have 2 of the most explosive running backs in the league right now with Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne looks like Travis Etienne of Clemson, and Basul Tootin. Oh my God. Yeah, you see the level of talent that this man has, and eventually he will be the number 1 on this team. Why do they have a combined only 22 carries? Like, both of those guys should be touching the ball every single time. And I get it. You have the likes, and you can't get Brian Thomas Jr. the ball. You can't get Travis Hunter the ball. Diami Brown, he had like a big touchdown. But again, this defense is still a Jacksonville Jaguars defense that should be playing better, but they're not. So they let Browning cook them, and you knew who he was going to every single time, and they still couldn't defend that. So this was more so on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then, you kind of saw a little clip of Trevor Lawrence shooing away Mr. Duval. And, that's not really a good look, too. They kind of try to clean it up in the press conferences a little bit. But at the end of the day, this is not a good look for the Jags. This was more on the Jags losing and why they lost, and the Bengals winning. Because at the end of the day, I don't think the Bengals are going to be a playoff team with Burrow out until December. And then by then, it might be pointless for him to even try to play on Sundays, because they'll probably be out of the playoff hunt.
Yeah, for sure. Baltimore Ravens beat the Cleveland Browns 41-17. Lamar Jackson was amazing in this game once again. The running game was non-existent. Derrick Henry he had 11 carries for 23 yards. So Cleveland put all into that stopping Derrick Henry, making sure he didn't beat them. But it didn't matter because Lamar Jackson had he was 19 of 29, 225 and 4 touchdowns. So he put the team on his back, and they end up winning the game pretty big. Joe Flacco's Joe Flacco. Dylan Gabriel had to come in. I wouldn't be surprised if Dylan Gabriel starts next week, just to see if they can get a boost from him. And then when he throws 4 interceptions, we get to see Shedeur Sanders, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this game went about as the way I thought it would go. I think it's to the point of like there's no point of playing Joe Flacco. I think you gotta start playing Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders and figuring out if these are the 2 quarterbacks that are going to lead the future, especially with you having 2 first-round picks next year. Quinshon Judkins, you can easily tell he's probably going to be the number 1. You can tell, like, he had a couple explosive plays. The Baltimore Ravens should be 2-0. That defense just did not play the way it should have played up to its standards. But at the end of the day, I have no worries with the Baltimore Ravens. That Baltimore Ravens team is going to be really good, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're the number 1 seed in the AFC West. In the AFC, excuse me.
Yeah, for sure, man. Give me a second. I'm having technical difficulties over here, people. Stuff is slow. Man. A few seconds, people. All right, the Buffalo Bills dismantled the Jets 30-10. This game was not close whatsoever. Justin Fields was terrible. I know he got hurt late. He's in concussion protocol, so it'll be interesting to see if he plays next week. Josh Allen, and it wasn't like Josh Allen did anything. It was the James Cook show. 21 carries, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen had, he had 59 on the ground, but he only had 148 yards. But this goes back to what I was saying last week, Mo, that this is how the Buffalo Bills have to play football. They cannot get into this Josh Allen and make something happen offense. Because that's what almost got them destroyed last week. And they probably should have lost last week because they didn't run James Cook. And they were just like, Josh, throw something up and make something happen. And he's prone to what? Interceptions. But if you limit his touches, and he only threw the ball, 25 times? That's the range you keep Josh Allen in. And you run the football with James Cook 21, 25 times. That is a recipe for success for Buffalo. That's how they have to win games. I'm not saying that Josh Allen can't put a team on his back. Top 3 quarterback in this league. So, of course, he can. But you can't survive off of that in Buffalo. They don't have the horses and wide receiver to do that. They don't. So, shout out to them for changing their philosophy. Week 2. Then they dismantled the Jets. And the Jets look bad. It wasn't good. Justin Fields was throwing some wobblers yesterday, man. There was some passes. I was like, what the hell was that? Like, if I'm Garrett Wilson, hey, man, get me out of here.
Right.
This ain't looking good. So, but, I digress.
Nah, man. Look, the Bills, they did what they needed to do. James Cook is the answer to the problems that the Bills would have if they try to just play hero ball with Josh Allen. Like, that's what you paid him for. So use him. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the best backs in the league. Like, you have to use him like that. But yeah, this Jets team is like, they had a good showing against the Steelers, but then we're going to talk about Steelers here in a minute. I don't think the Steelers are a good team as well, but this team is just bad. Like, Garrett Wilson needs to get out of there. Breece Hall needs to get out of there. No offense to Aaron Glenn, but it's looking like not a good situation, especially just with that performance and that response. It just looks bad, man. Like, you know what I mean? Especially coming off that game that you had. It's just not looking good with the Jets. It looks like the same old Jets that we've been accustomed to. They're just going to be a bad team. They might give you a scare here and there with just, like, they're going to play above their means. I've been said Justin Fields is not a great quarterback. He's a great athletic quarterback, but he's very inconsistent with his balls and his touches and his accuracy. It's the same situation. Like, I don't know what you expected with Justin Fields. Like, it just is what it is. Like, this team is what it is, and it's got to live with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. The New England Patriots beat the Dolphins 33-27. It started off looking like it was about to be the same thing with the Dolphins when the Patriots moved up 12-0, but then the Dolphins woke up, started getting the ball downfield. It was a tight, contested game, but the New England Patriots pulled over. But Tua Tagovailoa, he had a better showing than what he had last week. He had 315 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he did have a bad pick. But this game went down to the wire, but New England pulled it out. Drake May, he had a solid game, 230, 2 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson, he was okay. But outside of that, Miami looked like they woke up a little bit on offense. I would say Achan had a really good game too. But it's gonna be interesting to see how they go going forward, man. It's still not looking good over there. Tyreek Hill still looks like he's disgruntled, ready to get the hell out of Miami. But we'll see.
Yeah, look, man, I wasn't impressed with either team at all. Like, again, I'm not the biggest Drake May fan. Again, they're not giving Trevion Henderson the ball at all. I don't get that. He's one of your most explosive players. You know what I mean? Stephon Diggs is, he hasn't really produced anything to have a true impact. This defense let this offense that Miami was very putrid last week against the Indianapolis Colts produce. It's just not looking good for both teams. At the end of the day, Miami needs to focus on the future. They have assets that they can trade and get some quality picks for. I think this is the time to do that. Obviously, this head coach isn't going to be the head coach of the future. I think this team needs just a clean slate, and we all can see that. So, and I think this fan base wants that. They paid a damn airplane to fly a banner around to fire the GM and the head coach. So you already know the temperature of this fan base. Like, they're over it. And if the Dolphins can't play good this early in the season when it's hot, we all know how they produce in the cold weather. It's not going to get any better. So it just is what it is. And this Pacers team, it's a win that they needed, but at the end of the day, I'm not impressed with this team. Like, they could potentially get better, but again, I need to see more from Drake May. I need them to get more creative and try to give their explosive players more opportunities to touch the ball. Like you drafted Trevion Henderson, put him in position to, put him that way. I don't get the flow and the touches and all that. Like, coaches, I feel like, just try to outcoach themselves and try to get cute. And it's just, the answer. Give Trevion Henderson the ball. You saw how explosive he is. Give him the ball. Find a way to give Stephon Diggs the ball a little bit more. Like, you have it right there. Matt Collins has been a really decent receiver these last couple of years. He was one of the big reasons why the Bills were able to get to, he had some big catches. Find a way to get him the ball. Like you have talent. Like Antonio Gibson, he's not a bad running back. Get him touches. But like what are we doing? Like, this team's just, it makes no sense in how they call their plays and how they, evaluate who's going to touch the ball or what. Like, Trevion Henderson is your explosive player. Get him the ball. That's what you need to do. Make it better for him, and they don't do that for Drake May.
That's your boy, Josh Daniels, man.
Josh Daniels is terrible. Like, but the Patriots, they want to live off the old days. Like, Josh, like, nah, he like this. He was a Tom Brady disciple. That's why he looked good. Like, let Josh McDaniels is not a good coordinator. He's not. He's not a good head coach. He's a bad head coach. He's a middle of the road coordinator. Like, that's just who he is. Like, he's not making Drake May better. He's not. This team is not good. Patriots are not good. They have a great defense, but even then, it shows inconsistency. I have more trust in that defense than I do that offense. Let's just say that.
Right. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Saints 26-21. Mac Jones had to start. He had a really solid game, 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. Juwan Jennings had 5 catches, 89 yards and a touchdown, had a long 42-yard touchdown. Christian McCaffrey had a solid game, 13 catches for 55 yards. Nothing special. But it was about this San Francisco defense. They made the plays when they needed to make the play. I think they made Spencer Rattler fumble, who was having a solid game himself. I had to say this about Spencer Rattler. As bad as the Saints probably are, he hasn't been bad. I'm not saying that he's a world beater, but Spencer Rattler has been a lot better than what he was last year. And if he can continue to build with this offense, because they got weapons over there with the Saints. We was talking about this yesterday. They got guys over there. Chris Olave could be a #1 wide receiver on a lot of teams right now. Rashid Shaheed could be a good #2 on a lot of teams. We all know Alvin Kamara, he's a little older, but he still got juice. He still can help.
99 yards. So yeah.
I'm hoping my Chiefs call the Saints right now. Go get Alvin Kamara. So, yeah, man, the Saints team, they're a couple of things, the ball bouncing their way of going 2-0. So, but the 49ers defense, they played as well as you would hope. Like people are saying, Robert Saleh is the MVP of this team right now. He's been coaching this defense up back to what it looks like this defense. Nick Bosa was amazing in this game. He made it big play after big play after big play in this game. Fred Warner was making plays all across the board. They were flying around. And, man, shout out to San Francisco 49ers. They're still a good team, even with their backup. Kyle Shanahan still has a well-oiled machine that as long as he get competent quarterback play, they have a chance to win the game. So, shout out to them.
Nah, man, I got to sit here and I got to apologize to the 49ers, man. I was one of the ones that I thought the 49ers would start trending backwards, but this team is loaded, man. And this team is only going to get better because they're going to get healthier. You're going to get Kittle back. You're going to get Brock Purdy back. And you're going to get Brandon Ayuk back here in the next month. So this team is only going to get better. If this defense can stay healthy, if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, they're going to compete. And this just elevates that division even more. Like, that division is just going to be brutal to try to get through. You know what I mean? So, yeah, shout out to the 49ers. Mac Jones played pretty well. You know what I mean? You kind of hinted at it. Who looks better? Is it Mac Jones or is it Brock Purdy? We all know Brock Purdy's going to get the starting lineup, man. They paid him money this year, so we know he's going to be the starting quarterback. But I love Ricky Purcell. Obviously, Juwan Jennings, he has a chance to, you know what I mean, have big games. You know what I mean? Kendrick Bourne, again, they're going to get Brandon Ayuk back. You know, you still got Brian Robinson being your backup, you know, just in case Christian McCaffrey goes down. I think that's a solid backup. Kyle Juszczyk, the best fullback in the league. You know what I mean? It's not even close. So this team has nothing but to go up because they're going to get healthier. You know what I mean? You would kind of expect that. With New Orleans, again, you know, we kind of had this conversation. You put Lamar Jackson on that team, the Saints might be one of the best teams in the conference. You know what I mean? It's just, it sucks, but the reality of that team is that team is getting older. So you just kind of assume that this team will eventually blow that roster up, maybe try to get some assets for future assets to, you know, help build this team in the correct way. Spencer Rattler has not played bad, you know what I mean? But I don't think he does anything to elevate this team to playoff standards. Like, I think he'll keep them in close games, but I just think they won't win. I do think Chris Olave needs to get out of there because they got to stop throwing that man hospital balls, bro, because he got cracked again. Like he's fighting for his life out there. Yeah, y'all have to stop doing that to that man. Like, he's gone through so many head injuries. Like, please, for the love of God, stop throwing him hospital balls because you're trying to get that man killed. And Alvin Kamara, like, he still looks really good. Like, he still looks spry. Like Rashid Shaheed, like, they got talent. Brandon Cooks, like, they got talent. But again, if I'm one of these teams that has a hole in a specific spot on that offensive side, I will be calling the New Orleans Saints, man, until trade deadline. Again, like, if your Chiefs can get Alvin Kamara, that puts so much more creativity and freedom, especially if you're able to add Rashid. I don't want this to happen, but imagine you had Alvin Kamara in the back who's still explosive with that creative mind with Andy Reid. You got Rashid Rice back. You get Xavier Worthy back. That team is going to be lethal. That team is going to be dangerous. That might be one of the best offenses in the league. That's just the reality of that situation. You don't want that to happen. Alvin Kamara, don't go to the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill, don't go to the Chiefs. Don't do that. But again, if you're one of these teams that has a hole, the New Orleans Saints is the team to call because they have a lot of talent that is just being wasted because they're just not a good team. You know what I mean? So
at this point, I'll take old ass Cam Jordan on the defensive line.
Nah, for real. You still got
Demario
Davis. You still got, you know what I mean? Like, you got quality cats on there. You know what I mean? Like Kool-Aid McKinstry, like, not saying they're going to get rid of him, but you got guys that can produce and help another team get over the hump. Like, you know what I mean? So why not? Why not? Like, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm calling for Chris Olave. I'm calling to add an extra depth on the receiver. Like, yeah, D-Hop has played well. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But you add Chris Olave to that team, or you add maybe a Cam Jordan or Kool-Aid McKinstry or something like that to that defense. Like, come on, man, what are we talking about? Like, Alvin Kamara to the Chiefs or Alvin Kamara to, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers help that running game out. You know what I mean? Like, it's situations where like that can get you over the hump to being a playoff team, to maybe being a Super Bowl title contender, or you on the verge of being Super Bowl title contender to being the overall favorite. So it's levels.
I gotta make an apology for this week to the Detroit Lions. Y'all shut me up this week, man, boy. Y'all came out. Y'all said, not on my watch. Hell no. My guys, the Lions, Detroit Lions beat the Chicago Bears 52-21. Smoking session all game. Jared Goff, 334 yards and 5 touchdowns. Your favorite, Amon St. Brown, had 9 catches, 115 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jameson Williams had 2 catches, 108 yards and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs had 12 catches, 94 yards and a touchdown. So, yeah. And David Montgomery had a touchdown too. So, they dominated. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Caleb Williams, man. You might not be a Chicago Bear by next year. Tyler Badger might be the new starting quarterback for Chicago Bears, man, because it's not looking good. It's not looking good right now. It's early. He's still learning Ben Johnson's system, and Ben Johnson's still a rookie coach, but it's not looking good.
Look, Detroit is amazing. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I know a lot of people had their doubts, especially going up against the Packers, but we just see how great the Packers are. So I think the Detroit Lions know who to measure up against. Like the Packers might be the best team in the NFC. So you can't really take too much on that, especially on the road first week. You know what I mean? Trying to get reacclimated with a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Let's see how that matchup goes later in the season. I think the Lions could honestly maybe prevail in that game. And then you got to look, man, they're still not even getting Sam Laporta involved. You know what I mean? Sam Laporta, I thought he was one of the best tight ends in the league when he first came out. They still haven't even got him involved yet. So this team is just going to be explosive. Detroit and all that, like, they're going to be good. If that defense can stay healthy, I think that defense will obviously get better as the week goes on. But we got to think of that. As far as like with the Bears, I'm not really gonna say too much about Caleb. Like, I think he has solid games. I just think he's not doing anything to wow anybody yet. I think he's trying to just learn the offensive side. I think Ben Johnson's trying to throw a lot at him. You know what I mean? He wants to be that new guru on the offensive side. And he's going to try a lot of stuff. I think, 2 TDs, 1 interception. He only had 207 yards. You can kind of tell he's just trying not to make the big mistake. But I thought Rome Odunze had a great game. He had 7 catches for 128 yards, 2 TDs. It's looking more and more likely that DJ Moore is going to be a trade candidate this trade deadline, because it's just getting to that point where it's just like, you have talent with Luther Burden, and, you got Rome Odunze, you got Colston Loveland, you got Cole Kmet. Like, it's just, you got DeAndre Swift. Like, it's just only so many balls that these guys can get. And DJ Moore is not being featured. Like, it looked like the number 1 option was Rome Odunze. So, and it just looks like he has a better rapport with Rome Odunze than DJ Moore. So, and then we all know the episodes that DJ Moore can have. Him and George Pickens are the same. Like, they could throw tantrums, they can, throw helmets and all that type of stuff. Do you need that in your locker room to make it even more harder on Caleb Williams? No. I think Caleb Williams is going through a whole new regime, trying to understand the offense with Ben Johnson. We all know how hard his playbook can probably be. I think even Jared Goff has kind of hinted at that to a degree. So you're asking a second-year quarterback to do that. So I think Caleb Williams will be fine. But this defense is atrocious. This defense is bad. It's not good. And I don't even think Jalen Johnson played, but I don't even think Jalen Johnson can help out this situation. So it's just bad. And he's not coming back anytime soon. So this defense is bad. It just is what it is. So I think Bears aren't going to be patient with Caleb Williams, but they should. And Ben Johnson has a lot of pressure on him with the amount of, how much he was attributed to being the next superstar coach. And now you got some people who think he might be Josh McDaniels 2.0. So we'll see what happens.
He just got started, people.
I wasn't mean. I'm just saying.
The Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks beat the Steelers 31-17. Shout out to show. Aaron Rodgers. I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers, y'all, because he has no running game. And if you want Aaron Rodgers to be successful, he needs a running game.
Yeah.
He can't do it by himself no more. He ain't that guy no more. He ain't got that in him like that no more. He needs a balanced running game. You can't have my man throwing 33 times.
Yeah.
He just ain't. He got DK Metcalf and that's it. Calvin Austin is good. He's a number 3, not number 2. He's number 3. Let's just call it for what it is. Either they need to go spring for another wide receiver. Maybe they need to go get DJ Moore and add him to this offense, and they can open stuff up a little bit more with that. I could see that. You know what I'm saying? That would be a good trade-off, and then my man Luther Burton can get some more run with Chicago.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But they need to get a running back, because I don't know. I'm not trying to give up on Caleb Johnson. I know he's a rookie, man. And I know sometimes guys they don't all work out instantly like that. Sometimes running backs take some time. You know what I'm saying? To get the scheme, to get things down. It could be offensive line play. It may not be all on the running backs. We all know Jalen Warren is a really good running back. He didn't all of a sudden forget how to play football.
Yeah.
So it may be attributed to this offensive line too. Maybe they're not run blocking good. I don't know, but they need to figure out, either they need to get another offensive weapon that's more consistent to help out DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers, or they need to figure out this running game, because they're not going to be successful on offense, and this defense is not as good as it's been in the past, and they're giving up a lot of points. He gave up over 30-something points in these past 2 games. So until they tighten things up on defense, because I know sometimes defense, they take a little bit longer to get themselves figured out, but still, they got to figure out this thing. They got to get a running game going to keep things honest for Aaron Rodgers. Play action, all that stuff. He needs that right now in his career. So, and Seattle's defense is really good.
Mm-hmm.
They kept him in this game.
Yeah.
Because Sam Darnold, he was okay. He was better than what he was the week before. He still threw 2 picks.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? Kenneth Walker was Kenneth Walker. 105 yards and a touchdown. You'll take that from Kenneth Walker. The only problem with Kenneth Walker is he can't stay healthy. Yeah. He always get hurt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And Jackson Smith and Jigba is a star that nobody's talking about. A man had another 100-yard game. So Seattle is one of those teams that, like, man, if Sam Darnold can minimize the turnovers, and if the defense continue to do what they do, Seattle could be right there. We could be looking at Seattle differently by the end of the year, man. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying they Super Bowl contenders, but they got the horses over there to make something happen over there. That's all.
I think the Seahawks are up there with all those teams. I think all those teams in the NFC West are going to be tough. Like, you know, Sam Darnold, I think you would have to say that Matthew Stafford's probably the best quarterback out of the bunch. But even then, you know, with his injury problems, like, it kind of brings him down a little bit. But I think Sam Darnold could perform just as well as Brock Purdy. You know, Kyle, you know, our little man Minnie Mouse. You know what I mean? He can, you know, just, you know, do as good as him. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like with the Steelers, the Seahawks are going to be good. That defense is going to be good. It's all about health with me, and then I think they'll find a way to compete for that division. As far as like the Pittsburgh Steelers, I just don't think this is a good team. I think their defense, like, I think Jalen Ramsey has played really well. He's probably been the biggest star of that defense, you know, because he made a lot of key plays. He still looks like the Jalen Ramsey of old. Like, it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. But I think overall this defense is just, it should be a lot better, but it's just not good. It's just not good at this current state right now. It's just not good. It could get better, but right now it's not a good defense. As far as like the offensive side, like Aaron Rodgers, like, I don't know what more you want from this man. Like, I didn't think he looked good. Again, he doesn't have help in that running game. I think there's many options to try to help the running game. Like, you have, I think you could call the Jets. I think you could call the Vikings, maybe pair him back up with Aaron Jones. Like, there's options out there. I think there's a lot of 2 running back systems where I think they might potentially be opened up to maybe trading, even call Alvin Kamara. There might be obviously there's an option there. But at the end of the day, I still don't think this team is good. I still don't think it's good. I think with the injury to Joe Burrow, I think it elevates them a little bit higher. But I still don't think they compete with the likes of, you know what I mean? Like, the Ravens or anything like that. Like they might sneak into the playoffs if they can find the right balance with the running game, actually get some running game production, or if Caleb Johnson can get his head out of his ass and might not make dumb plays and actually produce. Actually, maybe they could give him more touches because you can tell they don't trust him. They don't trust him at all right now. But Jalen Warren, like I don't think he's an every down back. He's not an every down back. So it's tough. It's tough. So yeah, we'll see, man. I just don't think the Steelers team is a good team. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. The Colts beat the Broncos 29-28. This game was a back and forth. Bo Nix played a lot better this week. He had 206 yards and 3 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins had 76 on the ground with a touchdown. Troy Franklin had a good game. 8 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. And then Danny Dimes, a.k.a. Indiana Jones, had 316 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, man, was Jonathan Taylor yesterday, man. He had 25 carries, 165 yards. And then Tyler Warren, he had a pretty good game with 79 yards. But this game was back and forth, man, and it came down to a penalty on the kick on the field goal. The field goal kicker from the Colts, they missed the kick, but I think it was an offsides or whatever, and they had to end up kicking it again, and the kicker nailed it, and the Colts ended up winning the game, giving the Broncos a loss. So, what are your thoughts?
Impressive game by the Colts. You know, at the end of the day, I think it was the Jonathan Taylor show. You know what I mean? We saw how explosive he can be. I thought Daniel Jones played a really excellent game. You know what I mean? I can't really be mad. You know, 316, 1 TD, no turnovers. He's played really good. This offense has been very, very productive. They're passing the ball around. You know what I mean? It's not they're keying on one guy like a Michael Pittman or anything like that. It doesn't really help fantasy purposes wise, but at the end of the day, they're slinging the ball around. As far as like the Denver Broncos, this defense is pretty disappointing me. I know I did see that clip of Patrick Surtain getting helped off the field. I don't know if he ever came back on the field. I'm not really sure. But either way, I think this defense was pretty disappointing. I think the offense played good enough for them to win this game. It's just you expect more from this defense. We had high hopes with this defense. You know, we all kind of touted that this could be a top 5 defense in the way they was kind of set up, but it's not. It didn't really help at all. So Broncos are 1-1. So you know, just gotta get back to the table and see how they do next week.
Yeah, good for us. The Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Giants in overtime, 40-37. Russell Wilson balled out, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns. All of them bombs away. Malik Neighbors, he had one to Wan'Dale Robinson too. Malik Neighbors had 9 catches, 167 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson had 8 catches, 142 yards. Dak Prescott had a pretty solid game, 361, 2 touchdowns. Javonte Williams is starting to look like the old Javonte Williams. He had 18 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had 112 catches, and he had no touchdowns. But George Pickens had 5 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. This game was just drawn. Let's just call it what it is. It was drawn. It's just back and forth. 1 minute you think this team was down and they only had so many seconds and just throw it down the field somewhere. And Malik Neighbors down there somewhere. But at the end of the day, the Cowboys, they made a good defensive stop. They end up getting the ball in overtime, set up Aubrey for what was like a 8-yard field goal, I think it was.
Yeah,
he booted that thing right through, and Cowboys won the game, man. Shout out to the Cowboys.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like it was pretty much a Madden game. This is what Madden would look like. You know, both of these defense are terrible. Again, you know, that defensive line really didn't do much. Malik Neighbors looked like Malik Neighbors had some incredible catches. I don't understand why Cam Scatterboo is the favorite in the running back. I don't know what happened with Tyron Tracy. I don't know why he's in the doghouse. Like he was one of the key. Huh? Yeah, I don't get. Yeah, I hear you. I don't get why Cam Scatterboo is the lead back. Like Tyron Tracy Jr. is the better running back, but I don't get that. I don't understand. that's Brian Daboll. I don't get it, but I think they need to rely on the running game a little bit more. Like I don't understand why they don't. Like I think they're really too pass heavy right now. I thought Russell Wilson's interception in overtime was terrible. That was a terrible throw, which you're gonna get. But again, Dallas, they looked impressive on the offensive side, like you expect that. Javonte Williams was probably the biggest surprise. He looked like he's, as you said, coming back into mold as how he looked before the knee injury with the Denver Broncos. If that's the case, that definitely helps out this Dallas team, especially on the offensive side. CeeDee Lamb looked good. George Pickens had a big touchdown. But this defense is terrible. So I don't know what this is the Dallas Cowboys mold. They got to score 35 plus points for them to have a chance to win these games. And it's going to come down to that. So, but they have the pieces to do it. So, congrats to them.
We'll see how Jadeveon Clowney changes this defensive line. They signed him right after the game was over.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be much of a help, but that's just me.
The Cardinals beat the Carolina Panthers 27-22. This was looking like it was about to be a rout. Dave Canelo, my man. Let me ask you something, man. You don't like running the football or something? Chuba Herbert only had 10 carries for 38 yards. You cannot have Bryce Young throwing it 55 times. I get it, you got behind the 8 ball, but you can't have Bryce Young throwing it 55 yards, dog. You just can't.
Yeah.
He's a smaller quarterback, too. You're prone to getting him hurt and killed out there. Mm-hmm. So you got to use Chuba Herbert a lot more. I don't know what you got to do, but you got to use him a lot more. You got to help Bryce Young out because you getting him to throw that football too much. And they're missing Adam Thielen. He was the safety blanket for Bryce Young. So you see that he's missing that. Now he's starting to build a rapport with Ted because Leggette's just looking like he's not it. He's looking like he's not that good. So you got to run the football, man. Use Chuba Herbert. That's why y'all gave him that contract.
Yeah.
So use them because, like I said, 55 times you got Bryce Young throwing the football. That's way too much. Way too much.
Yeah.
And look, the Cardinals, they whatever. Kyler Murray. He'll make some nice flash plays here and there, but I don't know. I don't know about this team. Defensively, they're a lot better than what they were, but still, there's something about this team that I'm not liking.
Not yet. Like the Carolina Panthers have probably been the most disappointing to me. I agree. Like they need to run the ball more. Even with the numbers 35, 55, 328, 3 TDs, 1 interception. I still honestly wasn't really impressed with Bryce Young. I expected more from him, especially in the early games. I think a lot of those were just the Cardinals felt like they had it in control and they started just letting it go. Ted looked good, you know what I mean? I probably owe him an apology, but yeah, Xavier Legette is terrible. He's probably on my level of like Najee Harris right now. He's like the Najee Harris of wide receivers at this point. Like that man is terrible. There's nothing about him that looks good. Like, yeah, he has a cool little country accent. He rides the little horses and he eats squirrel and raccoons and all that. But on the football field, he's god awful. Like there's nothing about him that screams out he's gonna be good. So Hunter Renfrow looked like the second best receiver on that squad, and which he's a great receiver. So I still don't understand I get it that Adam Thielen asked to be traded to maybe go back to the Minnesota Vikings. I personally wouldn't have done that because I feel like that stunt the growth of this offense a little bit because I think Bryce Young and him had a really great rapport. But again, I agree with you. They do need to run the ball more to help Bryce Young. As far as like the Cardinals, you know me, I'm a Kyler Murray guy. I like Kyler Murray, but I'm tending to agree with you. There's something about this team that just does not sit right with me. Like, yeah, they're 2-0, but you're kind of just waiting on that 3-game, 4-game losing streak at this point. Like, there's nothing about this team that screams out like it's going to compete for the division. Like, I know I said this division is going to be tough, which I do. I think the Cardinals are very talented. I think this defense is going to be talented. They're going to be in close games, but they're going to find ways more to lose than they are going to win. That's just the way it is. So, and again, it's like the touches are weird. Last week, it seemed like Trey Benson was the star running back and he was going to be the number one. Then you go with James Conner, which he's still a good back, but like make up your mind. Like, you can't ask these running backs to like be the number one carrier this 1 week and the next. Like, these running backs need rhythm. They need to get rhythm as much as the quarterback needs rhythm with that O line. The running back needs to have rhythm with that O line as well, and how they block, the kind of holes that they're going to receive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just need that. Like, make up your mind and give Marvin Harrison the ball more. He had a bad drop where he should have caught the ball on the sideline. One moment I looked at, but overall, like he only had 5 targets yesterday. Like, what are we doing? Marvin Harrison's supposed to be your number one. He's supposed to be this generational receiver, but you don't treat him like that. And maybe it's something that they see more in the practices where they don't feel comfortable giving him the ball, but on the field, it looked like he should be getting the ball more. And I don't understand that. It's just another situation where I don't get the how you're going to delegate these balls to these certain players. Like, you want Trey McBride to have the ball in his hands. You want Marvin Harrison Jr. to have the ball in his hands. That's who you want. So do that. But again, this team it leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, for sure. The Atlanta Falcons beat the Vikings 22-6. Nutshell of this game is this, man, because Michael Penix didn't have a great game. Bijan Robinson was the main cog in this game. He had 22 carries, 143 yards, and then Algieri had 16 carries for 76 yards. They were mainly the offense, but it was just what we saw from J.J. McCarthy in the first 3 quarters of the Chicago game. That's pretty much what it was, and he wasn't that good. He had 2 picks. Only had 158 yards. The running game was non-existent in this game. Justin Jefferson, he had 3 catches for 81 yards. And pretty much the team that we saw in the first 3 quarters against Chicago, that's the real team. That's the real team. With J.J. McCarthy as a quarterback. We'll see if he can grow from this. We've seen the flashes. But we'll see if the flashes can finally break through for a full quarter. So it's not looking good so far. In Atlanta, they don't look as good either, but they got Bijan Robinson, who's probably the number 1A, 1B running back in the league with Saquon. So, and Derrick, you can put Derrick Henry up there too, but I would say Saquon, Bijan are like on this level, and then Derrick Henry's like right there. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Neither team is scary. Neither team looks like they're going to make the playoffs, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not watch this game. I was out for an event, but I know JJ McCarthy got hurt. I think he's gonna be out next week, so that's not promising. I don't know who the backup is for the Vikings.
It's Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. So we might get the Carson Wentz show. It might be better for Justin Jefferson. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see with Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? I think this will be a great showing to see if he can potentially maybe have another opportunity to be a starting quarterback somewhere else. Maybe especially as injuries do happen throughout the season, they could use him as trade bait. But at the end of the day, man, JJ McCarthy's career is not off to a great start. You know what I mean? He had the knee injury, now he has the ankle injury. Minus the 4th quarter, he's looked pedestrian for the most part. This Vikings team offensively is just too talented, even without the likes of Addison. Like, where they should get Addison back here after the next game, so that would definitely add more depth. But again, you're not even doing anything with Justin Jefferson. You got Jordan Mason. Like, they didn't give him the ball a lot. Aaron Jones Sr., he only got 5 touches. Like, I just don't know. And as far as like the Atlanta Falcons, like, it's pretty much Bijan or bust at this point. Like, I expect better from Michael Penix. That Vikings defense is pretty good for the most part. So maybe it was just a matchup issue with that. But I expect better from Michael Penix. We've seen it, you know what I mean? So I can't expect them to have great games every single time. Not even the greats do that, but you expect more. So this offense is just too talented for that. But hey, that defense looked pretty good. Flew around, even with the pedestrian JJ McCarthy being the quarterback of that team. But it's kind of hard to really understand who these teams are going to be. Yeah, I need to see a couple more games against some better talent.
Yeah. The Philadelphia Eagles beat my Chiefs 20-17. This was a dog fight. It was a slugfest. Both defenses played really well on both sides. Saquon, he had a little bit of a surge in the first quarter. I know he had the touchdown. He had like 88 yards in the touchdown. Jalen Hurts, he was 15 to 22 for 101 yards. I know the people we was around, they weren't too happy with Jalen Hurts in his performance. AJ Brown didn't really have a big game either. 5 catches for 27 yards. We're gonna see how long that lasts with you know how he is. And I mean, you got to think when you're a wide receiver, you get paid all this money to produce, and then when they try to use it against you to make you take a pay cut, it's like, bro, come on, man, they ain't even throwing me the ball. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's almost like they try to use that and they don't take it in context and say, hey, man, my quarterback don't throw me the ball like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be interesting to see them going forward. But it was a dogfight. It looked like the Chiefs they had to slog with this offense because they're down some horses right now. And Hollywood ain't a number one. Though. You know what I'm saying? Travis Kelce, he had a couple pretty decent catches, but once the Chiefs got down, they had a chance to get to the red zone and score to make this a 17-13 game. And my man Travis Kelce wasn't looking for the ball. I don't know what he was doing. He didn't get his hand around. He got his hands up and he tried to body catch it. And he bounces it up in the air. And Andrew Makuba gets the interception, takes it out the end zone, get it damn near halfway across the field. The Eagles get it, they get it downfield to Devontae Smith, and they, push it into for the end zone for a touchdown, which pretty much sealed the game. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes missed Tyquan Thornton on a deep shot early in the drive that probably could have gave him a little bit more time to possibly put a drive together and maybe win the game, but it was just too late. It was too late. I knew that had sealed our fate because when you're down and you're injured and you got to manufacture stuff, you cannot turn the football over. That is the number one rule. I don't care if it's one time. That one time can seal your fate. So you have to damn near be mistake. You have to be mistake free, unless the other team makes a mistake, and you got to hope for that. and that's not the Eagles. And the one thing I'll say about the Eagles, you know what the Eagles are doing in these first two games? They're doing what the Chiefs did last year. They're out chiefing the Chiefs, winning these one-score games, keeping it close, and waiting for the other team to mess up. And that's what happened. That's what happened in the Cowboys game. CeeDee Lamb dropped the pass. They probably could have won them the game. This game, Travis Kelce, he drops a pass. I ain't saying that the Eagles couldn't have came back and won the game, but it was that momentum would have switched if Travis Kelce catches that touchdown. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Eagles. They did what they were supposed to do. They won the game. And my Chiefs got to go back to the drawing board, man. Hopefully we get Xavier Worthy back for the Giants this week. We'll see how he looks. I know he's going to have a harness on this thing, but we're missing Rasheed Rice. And we need a running game. We need a running back. We need a running back bad. I'm not mad at the defense. If you told me, Ma, that Saquon Barkley was going to have 22 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown, I'd say, sign me up. Better than them having 150 and 2 touchdowns. Sign me up. I thought the defense played pretty well. Considering you asked your team to hold a team to Jalen Hurts having 101 yards. AJ Brown only had 27. Devontae Smith had 53 yards, and most of that was on one catch. There's nothing more you could ask for your defense to do. So, I mean, like I said, you got to be mistake-free. If you don't have all your dogs in the race, you cannot turn the football over. That is the rule. And you can't give a team like that life. And that's what happened. Eagles had life. They won. Shout out to them.
Yeah, man. At the end of the day, it was a big defensive battle. But I think with the Eagles, I'm not really worried about the Eagles. I feel like they do this every year. They kind of start out slow. Like they'll be fine as long as they can stay healthy. That team is just way too talented. I thought Saquon Barkley had a really good game. Surprisingly, I thought it would have been more of a passing game because I just feel like your rushing defense is way better than your passing defense. But at the end of the day, man, Saquon Barkley had a couple big holes. He had a big touchdown. Obviously, Jalen Hurts and the tush push has been getting talked about a lot. With that situation. You had Adam Schefter pretty much said it. They lost it back in March when they didn't vote the tush push out. That's the main reason why the Chiefs lost this game. But I'm not gonna say all that. I don't think that's the case. But at the end of the day, people are always gonna make the big issue about the tush push. I don't understand. Like it's a play that just works. At the end of the day, figure out how to stop it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like they should ban the goddamn play. I don't care. Like at the end of the day, you need to learn how to defend that. So
I don't think they should ban it. Only thing I would say going forward, and because you guys gonna have to play them later, is that these referees gonna have to start, because the only disadvantage that I don't like is that these offensive linemen get to jump the snap count.
Yeah. If they jump the snap count, then call it a false start. That's what you need to do. Yeah. And I don't think it's hard to see that. I don't think it's not that hard to see. You're staring down the line.
That's what I'm saying. I'm tired of this excuse of, I couldn't see. No, you can see clearly an offensive lineman jumping before the snap.
Yeah, like you can clearly see his day. Like I've seen the video of the Eagles and Chiefs. I thought both guys jumped off at the same time, so I get it. Maybe it just kind of nullified that whole situation. I saw a Chiefs player and an Eagles player both jump before that ball got snapped. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's hard to call it, but do I think it needs to be banned? No. But I think eventually they'll probably will do it because they just think it's an unfair advantage. It's gonna get banned next year. I think it needed like 2 more votes or something like that for it to get banned. I think they will do it. And I don't think it's right. I think it's a play that just needs to be there. It's like you wanted to ban the skyhook from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because it's just too unstoppable. Like I just think that's idiotic. Like I think the NFL has enough stuff to worry about. Like they need to figure out this whole celebration shit. Allow these players to do that more than the tush push. Like it works for the Eagles. Don't punish them for that. Because if it works, everybody will be doing it. Not everybody can do it. So like you don't want to punish one team because they mastered something that you have a problem that you can't master. Like I just think that's just crying. You're just crying at that point and you look like a sucker. That's just me. But with your Chiefs, I just think y'all need Rashee Rice. Y'all have no talent on that receiving core. Hollywood Brown is, I just don't think he's a good receiver. I think Xavier Worthy is better, but I think he's brittle. Like even if he does come back, he's still gonna have a delicate shoulder, and he does get hurt quite often. So I just think he's a small receiver. I don't like that. Your running game is putrid. I think y'all have the worst running game in our division. Like it's just that. Like you see a couple things with Kareem Hunt, but even then, it's just not great.
The worst run game in the NFL.
Do y'all? That's a good question. I gotta think about that. I don't know. Do y'all?
Jaylen Warren or Isaiah Pacheco?
I think they're the same. I really do. I think they're the same. Me personally, like I don't see a difference, but I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to come back to that maybe at a later show. But y'all running game is terrible. Your receivers right now are just not good. Like y'all miss Rashee Rice. Y'all need to be on the trade line and try to call. I think y'all defense is good. It looked like the defense that we saw last year. But again, if you're gonna command this defense to do the same thing, I just think it's gonna be different kind of luck. Like I think a lot of stuff last year went y'all way. Catch, a bounce, whatever the case, a penalty play call, whatever the case may be. I just don't think y'all going to get that year. And you kind of saw that with the Travis Kelce situation. Like that's something you don't normally see from the Chiefs. It just seems like it's one of those years where you cannot expect that you're going to be perfect and those bounces are going to go your way. And at this point, the Chiefs need to go ahead and call Alvin Kamara. Try to get Chris Olave. Try to get Garrett Wilson. Try to go all in because this team is going to look different next year without Travis Kelce. It's going to look younger. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes will still be there. You still got to figure out if Andy Reid's going to coach another year. Like you just never know with this team. Like this team could look totally different next year. But at this moment in time, you have the assets to be a contender. It's a tough division. You don't want to play with your food. So if you have the opportunity to better your roster, do it. And they should be on the Eagles mindset right now. Find a way. Just find a way. Make it happen. I don't want to see it, but if you're the Chiefs, this might be your best year to actually, make that happen. Because you don't know how next year and the years after that is going to kind of unfold.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Of course, we got your 2 games. We got the 2 games tonight. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Houston Texans. I think I picked Tampa Bay to win this game because, like I said, I got to see this offense look better with Houston. I know it was 1 game, but I still got to see it. So I'm going to pick Tampa Bay because I just think they're the more sure thing. And then I picked your Raiders to win tonight. I think that they're, at home. I think that Chargers. I think they're gonna come down because I think they celebrated too much beating the Chiefs. It's like they won the Super Bowl. And I think they're gonna come back down to earth. And I think y'all gonna win. I think it's gonna be a highly offensive game, but I do think y'all pull it out at the end.
Yeah, I had the Texans being the Bucks. I just think I'm gonna hold out hope. Like, I know that offensive line for the Texans still doesn't look good. They don't really have a running game. I just think we're gonna get a big passing game from this Texans team, and I think this Texans defense is still really good. Like, they even against the Rams, they look really good. So maybe they'll get opportunistic. Maybe they'll get some turnovers that go their way, and then kind of just help with field position and make it a little bit easier for CJ Stroud. That's kind of what they need to do. Even though this Buccaneers offense can be very, very scary. Like, you know what I mean? They're not even fully healthy yet. So it's better to get them now than later. But I do expect a good game. As far as the Chargers and the Raiders, I'm going to go with my boys. It's good to see that Brock Bowers will most likely play. How often he plays will be, kind of question, like how many snaps he will get. But you still got Michael Mayer. I think he's a great second tight end that could also fill in the role. But I think it's going to be very curious to see how this defense reacts to this San Diego Chargers offense. You know what I mean? Like, is Quentin Johnson going to remain reliable? Can Amarion Hampton get the flow? You got Lad McConkey, which I think he's a given. Like, I got to see how our defense plays against him. Obviously, I got to see how Geno and them, and can they get Ashton Jeanty involved? Can this rush block be a lot better and actually give some holes for Ashton Jeanty to actually look like Ashton Jeanty? I know a lot of people have been kind of worried about Ashton Jeanty. I'm not. I just think it's more of the old line that has been the detriment to Ashton Jeanty, because by the time he gets the ball, there's 3 linemen in the backfield, and it's kind of impossible for him to even get anything started. So I'm gonna be kind of interested at that. But I think the Raiders do win. I think a lot of that was just the place that they played with in Brazil, and just they kind of even the playing field a little bit. And and will we get a Justin Herbert redo as far as like what he looked like against your Kansas City Chiefs? He looked like the best quarterback in the league last week. So will we get that? If they get that, then it's gonna be a tough one for my Raiders. But I think Geno, I think he's ready. I think Pete Carroll, I think the atmosphere in Legion Stadium will be pretty hype, and I think this team will win. I think Max Crosby will get a couple key sacks, and I could see us winning like a 20-17 style game.
For sure. All right, man. What team most impressed you, and what team disappointed you?
The team that most impressed me, I would say, would be the Detroit Lions. Them being able to bounce back offensively, looking good, looking like they got all the strings going on. You know what I mean? You saw Jahmyr Gibbs, you saw Amon-Ra St. Brown, you saw Jamison Williamson, you saw Jared Goff and David Montgomery. The list goes on, and they still haven't even featured Sam Laporta yet. You know what I mean? Which we all know he can be a top tier tight end. So, and that defense looked good even against the Bears. So I'm gonna say the Lions. And then my most disappointed actually went to 2 teams. It went to the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Minnesota Vikings. I think they were on the same level as far as disappointment. Jacksonville, there's no way you should have lost that game. And then obviously the expectations off of that win that they had against the Chicago Bears. Maybe it was more so on me that I kind of bit the bullet and bit the JJ McCarthy hype a little bit. Even though I've not been a JJ McCarthy fan. Maybe this decision on me being most disappointed in them was more on me, but the Jaguars for sure. I thought that was the most disappointing performance. They should have won that game, and they have too much talent for them to lose that game, especially with Joe Burrow going out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you with the Detroit Lions. Like you said, they bounced back, man. They bounced back in a major way, and they look like the Detroit Lions that we've all come to accustomed to see. That offense, defense making plays when they need to make plays, and we'll see if it's just a bad Chicago team and how they look, the following week. But right now, everything's, their stock is definitely up. And my most disappointing is the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
You come to the season, and I get it. Terry McLaurin hasn't trained, but you got paid, brother. You got to go out there and produce. You got second year Jaden Daniels. Everybody has high expectations for this team, and because even in that Giants game, it was a slogfest, and I get it; it's a division rivalry. But that offense wasn't all particularly great, and it looks like this year it hasn't really snapped out of it either. And Packers I know their four-man rush is one of the best in the league right now, with adding Micah Parsons and Wyatt and Rashawn Gary, but Yeah, man. I thought this team would be a lot better, and they haven't shown that yet. And now that Jaden Daniels might be out next week, they might be looking down at the eight ball at 1-2. You know what I'm saying? We'll see if the
Yeah.
backup quarterback and I think you said it's Marcus Mariota could
Mhm.
win a game and keep things stabilized, but it's not looking good right now. And Cliff Kingsbury, he's gonna have to make some adjustments and see if he can help Jaden Daniels out, run the football a lot more, and get this offense going. So they're my
Yeah.
most dis.
So
That does it for our NFL recap. All right, man. You got anything else?
yeah, I do. I wanted us to talk about this Adam Silver situation. Just real quick. I'm gonna
Okay.
play a little. Huh?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna play a little sound bite. And I'm gonna have some remarks about what he said, based on the accessibility of the NBA. Hold on.
Huge amount of our content. There's a huge amount of our content that people can essentially consume for free. I mean, this is very much a highlights-based sport. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, any service. The New York Times, for that matter, to the extent that your content is not behind a paid firewall. There's an enormous amount of content out there. YouTube, by another example, that is advertising based that consumers can consume.
So that was pretty much a question that one of the journalists made when he had his meeting to the press, his first time before the season starts, where they asked a question on pretty much just how much it costs for people to actually watch these games, whether it's going to the games, the accessibility on TV, the addition of it being added to Amazon and all that type of stuff. Kind of the same questions that we see every year with the NFL. You know what I mean? Just how much it costs for you to be able to watch all these games. And then you had him kind of stating that that the NBA is a highlight sport. And I had big issues with that because I think that's been one of my problems with Adam Silver. Is just that I feel like he's already taken this defeated mindset of this league, that it is just a highlight sport, which it is a highlight sport, but I disagree that that's all it is. I think the NBA basketball is at one of its best states. I think it's ultra talented. I think it's too much talent in this league to the point where I think that it does need expansion. It does need to add to two teams, because it's just you have a lot of cats that are sitting on the bench that can easily average 20 plus points a game. And for you to want to be able to battle against the NFL, I've already went off on the scheduling for Christmas and all that, and I'm not going to do that again. But you have superstars that you need to promote. I get it. They're in this kind of influx with the transition period from Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry to now you got Ant Edwards, Shane Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Chet Holmgren. The list goes on and on. Victor Wembanyama. You have a lot of great young star talent. I just think when you already put that defeated mindset with this just being a highlight league, it already puts you behind the eight ball. You already have a lot of conversations about whether people like the NBA, the way it's being played, and all that type of stuff. It doesn't help the argument at all, especially when you're going up the likes against the NFL. And then I've already had complaints about the situation of how you've been scheduling these games. When you're trying to compete with the NBA, you've already kind of like punked out and walked away from the Christmas Day games, just based on how you've handled the scheduling. Like you've allowed the NFL to be able to adapt, because we all saw how piss poor those games was last year. You know what the NFL did? They learned from the mistakes and they turned them all into divisional games. Chris, what happens when these divisional games happen in Christmas when they're battling for playoff position? Those are going to be great games, right? You know it's going to be, especially with the matchups that you have. I think you have the Eagles. I think you have the Chiefs on there. I think you have another team, whatever the case may be. But they're all great games. I think it's like Packers and Lions or something like that. Like you all know those are going to be great games, great physical games that it's going to come down to the wire. And a lot of people are going to battle that. So you have the likes of being able to put a Mavericks-Lakers matchup. You choose not to do that. You choose to continuously promote LeBron James and Steph Curry, the two guys that are going to be out of your league in the next 3 years. LeBron James, this could potentially be his last year. Steph Curry, you might look at another 3, potentially. Maybe a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, he's not going to be as relevant as he used to because he's getting older and older. You have young talent of the likes of Ant Edwards, Shai Gilgeous, that you refuse refuse to give light to. You have teams like the New York Knicks, you have young teams like the Magic, you have young teams like the Atlanta Hawks that need to be put on more of a national stage. It took you for the Thunder to win the NBA Finals for you to actually start giving them primetime games a lot more when they should have been had that 2 years ago, because you saw the trajectory of this team. And then for you to kind of say this is a highlight sport, I think it's just a slap in the face. It doesn't help with the involvement of this league, especially the perception out here in America. I've been a big proponent that I think basketball is in a great, healthy state. And I think there's different styles that need to be promoted, but the NBA refuses to do that. Refuses to do that. Even with the NBA Finals coverage, it looks generic. It looks bland. It doesn't have any excitement. When you know when the Super Bowl is happening, it feels like an event. It feels like an spectacle. It feels like it's a show. It feels like something I need to sit down and watch. That's what it feels like. Whether it's performances at the halftime, whether it's the way it's covered, the trademarking, just everything that goes involved with the Super Bowl, it feels like an ultra event that I cannot miss. When it comes to the NBA Finals, it looks like everything. And like, honestly, I feel like they treat the NBA Cup higher standard than they do the NBA Finals. Just with the difference in the court and all that stuff, just the simplistic stuff of just the branding, just the promotion, the way you cover the sport helps a lot with the game. Make it feel like a spectacle. You don't even allow that. We're still worried about the All-Star game, which we all know is cooked. Just allow them to play the All-Star game. These players aren't going to play hard. They've made that choice, and that's a lot. That's on the players. That's not on them. Just play the regular All-Star game. They want to play harder in the offseason than they want to do for the All-Star game, which is another conversation I'm not going to get into, but that's just the mentality of the players today. Like, it's just very, very, very frustrating with Adam Silver, and I just think he has a lot of stuff that I just don't think he's doing correctly. I try to like Adam Silver. I think he's a really nice guy, but I'm just trying to figure out how he's helped better in the league, whether it's this Euro League, when you have NBA expansion right there that you need to focus on. You need to focus on the product in the States more than you need to focus on the Euro League. Euro League don't need the league. I understand you want to have access to that. And it just seems like the more and more you do that, it's kind of like you're excommunicado the American player. Like, you're so focused on this European style because you think it's the better style because we have more international players that are getting better, which is great for the sport. But at the end of the day, there's American-born players. Fix the AAU system. Worry about that. Fix how you train these players so they can be more of when they get into the league, being able to adapt and being more professional at the end of the day. I think that's what they need to focus on more than building a Euro League out there when they already have one that's fully established and doing very, very well. So that's just kind of my opinion. It's the frustration level with Adam Silver with this. What's your opinion on it with what you know?
I don't know.
What's your perception with NBA? Because you've had your questions about the NBA, whether you want to get involved. You know, like, you're not a fan of a team, you're more a fan of a player type of aspect. Like, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. It just seems like Adam Silver is scared to progress with the newer, younger generation. Like, he's still trying to hold on to LeBron. He's still trying to hold on to Steph. He's trying to hold on to Kevin Durant. I don't know if it's he doesn't believe in this young talent can be a face of this league, the Anthony Edwards and the Ja Morants and the Luka Doncic and whatever, for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? He acts like he has to hold on to the LeBron James. And maybe it's not him, just him. Maybe it's the people around him that bring him the analytic numbers and tell him, oh, you got to talk about LeBron James. You got to talk about Stephon Diggs.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. They move the needle and they do this. And if you talk about this is going to bring up the ratings on this. And if we play these two teams, the analytics show that more people watch the show than, watch the games than this. So maybe it's the people around him that's giving him that advice, but it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking from afar when it comes to the NBA. Yeah, I pay attention, but I'm not as ingrained as I used to be when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? I used to love basketball. You know what I'm saying? That was, at one time, basketball was my number one sport. But as I've gotten older, football has been more of my number one sport. But I don't know. Like I said, it just seems like he's holding on to the past. That's what it looks like. He's like, he can't let go. And this could hurt him because once all those players retire and now you haven't built up none of your younger superstars, I'll equate it to wrestling. A lot The times in wrestling, what do? They hold on to the stars from the past. The Rock, Brock Lesnar, they'll go get the Undertaker or somebody like that to be on a show to sell it because they want newer fans and casual fans to come see it because most casual fans don't watch the product like that, so they want to bring in other eyes. So they'll say, "Hey, we got the Undertaker here, and he's only there for 10 minutes." You know what I'm saying? Or Brock Lesnar is coming out. You know what I'm saying? I look at it the same way. Like, oh, they were like, "Hey, we still got LeBron James going against Steph Curry. You should watch." And the casual fan would be like, "Oh, LeBron, Steph," because they don't watch the game. They don't know who Anthony Edwards is or John Moran or whoever. So I think that's what's going on with Adam Silver, and maybe you need to get eventually get a younger commissioner in there or a commissioner who's tapped in on both sides, who understands that we still need to keep the fan base that's around our age and older, but we also need to get these young fans because eventually these young fans are going to be the ones that push the needle for our league. So, and the kids are the ones who buy, parents buy jerseys for kids. Yeah, they buy, for themselves, but jersey sales come from their kid buying a jersey of their favorite players. You know what I'm saying? That's where the jersey sales in. The dad or the mom got to go out there and get Anthony Edwards jersey or, John Moran or Luka Doncic's jersey. You know what I'm saying? Or LeBron James or Stephen Curry. They're the ones that got to buy that jersey, and they're the ones that sign up to get the autographs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are the kids that you would think that they would be the ones that they would try to push the product to, also with pushing Anthony Edwards. And maybe it's the off, some of the off court stuff with Anthony Edwards is making it hard. It's hard for John Morant with his stuff. You know what I'm saying? So maybe some of that's going on too. LeBron James is squeaky clean. Stephen Curry is squeaky clean. You know what I'm saying? They don't have off court situations. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in Anthony Edwards, he had his situation with baby mamas, and that's hard to push a person on your product when you're trying to push him. He may not be the most favorable person, and he's come out and said, "I don't want to be the face." Yeah, you don't want your face to say that. You know what I'm saying? John Morant, he had an opportunity, but then he started playing with the guns and stuff like that, and it's like, man, I can't really use him. And then Luka Doncic, he comes off like he's not really. He's kind of like Jokic a little bit. It's like, I really don't want to be in front of the camera right now. I just want to play basketball. Like, I don't really care about this other extra shit right here. Like, I just think that they got a lot of passive aggressive young stars that don't really want to be in front of the camera. And there's no more Jordans and Magic Johnsons with the smile and say, "Hey, I'm in front of the camera. I'm the star. I'm the face." You know what I'm saying? Even Larry Bird with his mean ass was in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and so on and so forth. Kobe Bryant, those guys understood about being a superstar. A lot of these young guys, they don't really care about being a superstar. They just want to go play basketball, go party, and go hang out, and do their thing. That's what they want to do.
They want to be more European. That doesn't help with the promotion of your sport. You know what I mean? That's why it's like I don't get it. Like, I think you have ultra talented guys, and I get it. You don't have a lot of those like the way they were, like Kobe, Shaq, like they had the personalities to fit that. Like Kobe Bryant was the asshole. He was the asshole that wanted to kill you. Michael Jordan, he was the same way, but at the same time, he just had an aura about him. Magic Johnson had the smile. He had the charisma. Shaq was the funny guy. Charles Barkley was the ruthless, want to fight everybody. Like, they didn't give an F type of stuff. Even with like the likes of like, we got LeBron James, Steph Curry, like, Kevin, like, I think Kevin Durant was probably a little bit more. Kevin Durant was kind of like, to me, the start of the passive aggressiveness type of guy.
He was.
Like LeBron too. LeBron is passive aggressive, but he loves the camera. He loves the camera. Like Kevin Durant is more of just, I'm the passive aggressive. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I just want to hoop. That's all I care about. You know what I mean? It's like we get more and more of those guys. You know what I mean? The Kawhi Leonards, Like, we try to get the Paul Georges and all that, but it's just more of like I think the only one I think out of the younger guys, like I think Luka. I think he's become more comfortable with it ever since he moved to LA. You see him being more out there a little bit more. Maybe he kind of understands that, so maybe he'll get better. But I think Victor Wembanyama, I think he's more. I think he can be a charismatic type of guy. I think Shea is interesting. You know what I mean? I don't think he's very like even kill. Like you could tell even when he talks and stuff like that. But I just think he probably has the look. He's very fashionista of everybody. You know what I mean?
I know people don't want to hear this, but you know the one person who actually has a personality about himself?
Anthony
Tyrese
Edwards.
Halliburton. Tyrese
Oh,
Halliburton.
Tyrese, yeah, no, Tyrese, yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton.
He was heading in that trajectory, like, you know what I mean? He was becoming a superstar before our eyes, you know what I mean? Like, he's just in a bad market. Like, he just plays for the Indiana Pacers,
He
you know
does,
what I mean?
but I think he has person. I think he's interesting. He goes to the wrestling events. He's involved in the segments and stuff like that.
That's true.
I
think
dude,
Anthony Edwards too. Anthony Edwards
Yeah.
too. I think Jalen Brunson. I think he has a great
Yeah.
personality too. I just,
Mhm.
you know, so he's a smaller
too.
guard, but he's in a great market. I think he's a great
Mhm.
personality. He even does the wrestling stuff too. I remember they had to
Yeah, he
face off
does.
with him and
Mhm.
Tyrese Halliburton and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I even think they even got uploaded into the
they
WWE
did.
2K. I think both of
They
them did.
did.
So it's like they have the personality. It's just Adam Silver don't want to promote it. It's there. And I get it. It's hard because Tyrese Halliburton, he's hurt. He's not going to be involved. So that did really suck. But the personality is there. I think there are a lot of guys that can be promoted into the league, but you know they got to want it at the same time. They got to want it. You know, it comes down to the players as well. But I think Adam Silver could do better as far as like scheduling and stop saying that this is a highlight sport. That doesn't help at all either.
Yeah, that doesn't either. Because then why would I want to watch your product if all I got?
You're not.
Watch
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm saying. My own commissioners tell me I don't need to watch the game. I can just go click on YouTube and watch a 5-minute highlight, and that's not what you want. That's not what you want at all.
Because then you don't get context from that either from the game.
So. Nah, you don't. You don't.
All right, man. Who gets your flowers of the week?
I think flowers is pretty easy to me. I think the first flower goes to Terrence Crawford in that performance and him just etching his stone into GOAT history as far as like boxing. Like he's up there and there's nothing that can change anything about that. He solidified himself. And then my second flower goes to the Clips, man, performing at the Vatican. Huge performance. I think it's the first concert at the Vatican in 2000 years. If you haven't seen the video, please do. Just the atmosphere of them walking out and doing Birds Don't Sing. I think it was amazing. Beautiful. John Legend was there performing in as well. I thought it was amazing. So I'm going to give them flowers. They've been on an amazing run. It's just give them the Grammy at this point.
For sure. I'm with you with Bud Crawford. You got to definitely give him his flowers. He did what everybody thought he wasn't going to do. And he went out there and became undisputed super middleweight champion. So, and solidified himself and edged himself in boxing history forever. So shout out to Bud. Also to my anime fans out there, you know what I'm saying? I went to go see the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie. To all my Demon Slayer fans out there, go watch the movie. It was amazing. One of the best visual experiences you'll ever have watching an anime. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Go watch it. If you haven't watched that if you haven't watched the Demon Slayer series, I suggest when you get a little time, go ahead and get catched up. Go ahead and watch that. They got a movie called The Train Arc. You gotta watch that one too, and then watch this, man, because the fight scenes are dope. The visuals, fire. You know what I'm saying? So the fight scenes are dope. Now there are some spots, you know what I'm saying, they always got to give a backstory of the villain or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes it can be a little slow. But outside of that, action packed, dog. Action packed.
Yeah, for sure.
And then of course, Young Jeezy announced coming to Las Vegas, dog. He's bringing the TM101 little orchestra concert out here in November and in December. Gotta go. Jeezy. And shout out to Tim and DJ Drama announcing an album coming out. Still Snowing. I'm excited, dog. You know, Jeezy's our dog. Jeezy's our dog. So
yeah, one of my favorites, man, for sure. I definitely gotta go to that.
Yeah. So all right, player, who gets your hell no?
Millions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now. Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this: we're not voting for the right people in North Carolina.
So that was Fox News. They were talking about homelessness. They were talking about homeless people in that. And then you obviously heard a gentleman at the end that they should lethal inject him, kill him. That was Brian Kilmeade on Fox News. These are the same people that have been asked to. They've been high voices. Obviously, we know about the whole Christian Kirk thing. We're not going to talk about that, but there have been a lot of people that have been very boisterous about that situation. We've even lost their jobs about that. I don't think it's right, but at the end of the day, they did. This man on live television on Fox News, Brian Kilmeade. Again, his name is Brian Kilmeade. Made these comments about homelessness, that people should get euthanized and lethal injected and killed if they don't take the services that have been presented to them from the government. Even you had another black gentleman saying they should be thrown in jail. At the end of the day, that man should be fired. He did try to apologize for that statement, but I think he should be fired. I think he should be held to a higher standard. And we're talking about people who got fired from regular jobs. This man is on national TV, being able to have a strong voice, a high voice in a prominent space, that he's going around making these comments. I am a firm believer that this man should be fired, and Fox News should do the right thing and fire him, because we cannot go around and have people on national news talking about euthanizing and killing homeless people for being homeless. At the end of the day, it's a system that is not right. Yes, you have people who don't want to take part of that, but it's a system that they have been brought in because they're losing jobs. They don't have the necessary tools to be able to get jobs. You have people right now who are losing high prominent jobs who've been out of work for a year. So you're asking a homeless person who doesn't even have anything for the last year, two, or whatever, who's been put in a position, who don't even look ready to be in an interview, who don't even is not even a healthy mental state to be put in an interview, not knowing if they've been in drugs, all that type of situations. And you're talking about euthanizing and killing people. Is this the America that we want? Is this the America that these people wanted to vote for? This is not the America I want. I think people need to be held accountable, and he should be. If there's a petition that needs to be signed for him to be fired, please let me know, because I'll be the first person to sign that. That man should be fired for those comments, because those were bad, and you just can't get any more evil than that. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. My hell no goes to Chris Jones. There was a sound bite towards the end of the game when Jalen Hurts was taking a knee to end the game, and you hear Chris Jones yelling at Jalen Hurts saying, "You only had 100 yards." And Jalen Hurts said, "Shut your ass up. We won the game." Chris Jones, my man, you can't say that, brother. You lost. I don't care how many yards Jalen Hurts got. They got the W. That's it. That's all that matters. They got the W. So you can't voice, and it's almost like you calling out your offense, because you're saying I did my job, but they didn't do their job. So I suggest you chill out. Don't say nothing. Shake their hand and move on, player, because it don't matter when in the grand scheme of things when they get the W. So you get a hell no, brother.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
All right, good people. If you look at the screen, you'll see the QR code for our WWE shop. Scan that QR code, and it'll take you to all the WWE merchandise on the WWE shop, which are latest superstars, from Seth freaking Rollins, CM Punk, AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jacob Fatu, Rhea Ripley, all your superstars. Go scan that QR code, and yeah, man, get your WWE merch. Also, shout out to Saudi Arabia. They're getting the 2027 WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people ain't happy about that. Ooh, if you look at the cash, if you want to donate to our Cash App, you can donate to Chris Mall Podcast. Whatever you want to donate, we will greatly appreciate. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, whatever you use to listen, we are available on all streaming platforms. First time on watcher on YouTube, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesdays 9-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you could jump in the live. You can talk about these topics with us. We want to hear from you. We want to get your opinion on all the topics that we talk about on our show. So yeah, and if you're listening on the playback, leave a comment in the comment section. And whatever social media platform that you use, whether it be X, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitch, Kick, Facebook, wherever you use, we are available at Crystal and Mall. You can follow us, we'll follow you back. Just some regular guys who like to talk sports, music, movies, and all kinds of various other things. If you have feedback or critiques, or you have a question or topic, and we like said question or topic, we will bring it up on the show. We will shout you out because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, emails, or our mentions. All right, good people. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. We will be back on Wednesday to go over week 3 of the NFL, week 4 of college football. We will give our top 10 rankings and random news. So until Wednesday, we out, man.